Yes.
Well. Here we are. Yet again. So, today's episodes that everyone should queue up for are Season 2, Episode 22, Cogenitor, which is about a third gender and not treating them like a person. Episode 23, Regeneration, with We Are the Borg. And Episode 24, First Flight, where Baby Archer looks exactly the same as Old Man Archer. We go back to the past. And there we go. That's it. If this is your first watch along, what you do is watch on a day where I wasn't up till 4 in the morning and more energetic. But other than that, what you do is you queue up the episode we're gonna watch, and when the timer hits 0, you press 0. Or you press play. And there you go, you did it. Congratulations.
Yes, and we'll start watching in about 3 minutes from now. It's, well, 4
3 minutes, 51, 50, 49, 48, 3:45.
As the timer says.
Yes. Anything else? Oh yeah, if you want to join the voice chat, then there's a link in the description to Discord. It's freely open. It's just there. It's an option. And I'm gonna blur the screen. You have to queue up your own copy of the episode, because I'm not gonna be showing it on stream, for obvious reasons. I can't play a whole Star Trek episode.
If we get them to monetize you again, do you think you could afford like the streaming license and you could stream it on YouTube?
I don't make that much money.
Maybe you would if you could stream the episodes on YouTube. Maybe it's a vicious circle.
Well, sure. If I streamed the episodes for free, then they probably end up getting a lot of money if it was allowed.
You know what? For the people who are on YouTube but aren't participating in the Discord, I would like to show you one of my creations. Let me make sure I'm not showing anything weird. There we go. Barbie with snake eyes.
Yes, if you'd like to see
Yes.
more weird creations and funny chats like that, the Discord is open and in the description.
So this isn't Photoshop. This is the actual in-game model that I modified to have snake eyes. Of Barbie Horse Adventures Mystery Ride. But yes, more context is in Discord.
And you can also join the voice chat, as long as it's not
Yes.
more than 10 of you at once.
Ooh, Barbie in 4K. 4K? 480p. 4K? 480p. Because I can, shut up. That's why.
What do you mean?
Anyway,
they're
how's the
non-canon
weather?
episodes?
Don't worry about it. How's the weather?
It's alright.
British.
Weathery? It's starting to warm up from the winter and I don't like it.
Well, considering I was sleeping outside last week and got a bit frosty, I'm well up for a bit of warmth.
But I want the frost. Also 34 seconds to start, everyone be queued up. I kinda want to go through, because I deleted all the files like 3 years ago. But maybe I should re-upscale Barbie Horse Adventures and try to make it work fully. It mostly works at 4K, but there's a little glitchiness. I bet I could make it work proper. with my extra skills. But for now, press play in 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, that's really loud. Okay.
Wonder if anyone speedruns Fiber Horse Adventures.
Probably. I can look it up. Barbie Horse Adventures Mystery Ride Speedrun. Speedrun.com. The record from 1 week ago, it has an active speedrun community, is 7 minutes, 50 seconds.
Nice.
Yeah, Hypergiant. What's wrong with Hypergiants, man?
That's not a classification.
Yes, it is.
It is not a classification. They just said it was.
So Hypergiant is actually a classification of star.
Interesting.
It's big. It's like a supergiant, but it's bigger.
Interesting. It's not one I've heard of, just exceedingly rare.
God, get good on your astronomy education, Soma.
They're entirely unimportant.
What do you mean? They're so big.
Yeah, precisely. They're rare. There's no special effects to them.
How do you know? You didn't even know they existed 2 minutes ago.
Because what that happens when you get bigger is you get a larger black hole, that's all.
Apparently there's something interesting to learn because these people want to learn about hypergiants.
It's cool to go in and see if you can find one, but I just mean there's nothing particularly special in terms of astronomy to stars. And they're rare, so they're not as important. Is what I'm just saying.
Disagree. Don't believe him, Archer. It's Tarmalok. I know you don't know the voice yet, but don't. It's
Isn't
a trap.
Tomalak
It's always
played by Ducat?
no.
Different Romulan?
Tomalok is played by Andreas Sulkakis. Sukakalasabadan? I don't know. He's a Romulan, in any case. And he's pretty cool. And you shouldn't trust him.
It's truly been a long
Actors can
ride.
play different parts, you know.
Everybody who Mark Alimo
Discovery
plays is
was good.
just Goldukat.
Can you believe it?
Well, we can't really go into too much detail about Discovery,
No.
but it was
Not
okay.
gonna. I thought it was good.
It was a decent episode.
Do you have faith to believe, though? You can do anything.
Believe that disco can be good.
Okay.
Have
Discovery's
faith in
got
it.
Truly
strength of
have
the
faith.
soul.
Every season I get hypes.
Oh, I forgot to check the news this morning. Are we at war? Hang
No.
on.
Quite.
There's gonna be a conference or something.
Okay, there's no war yet.
But yeah, we are exceedingly close to war.
We're also exceeding close to a Zindi war. Except,
Yeah,
is there
which one will
another
happen
Zindi
first?
war?
Let's place your bets. Which one will happen first?
That feels distasteful, but okay. I'm betting Russia war will happen first.
The war won't happen.
There is Andreas Katsoulis. That's his name. That's him. That's Ambassador Tomalok.
Or you have the Destiny, which literally flies straight into stars to refuel.
The Stratopod, because it goes into the stratosphere, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm.
What are the sticks? They look like cinnamon sticks, but You don't just eat cinnamon sticks.
Yeah, look like cinnamon sticks or something like that.
Maybe they're like waffle cone material.
Yeah.
Maybe like them chocolate straw type things.
Could be. I appreciate that Commander Tucker cares more about the engineering section than, women.
That's quite a
What about the
change for him.
engines?
Quite a difference for him.
He's pulling a Geordie.
Oh, yeah. This episode. I remember the entire episode now.
The person who's not really considered a person because I was gonna say she's different, but she's not a she.
What is it with Star
They
Trek and
say.
using it despite the fact that the word they has existed for hundreds of years?
Yeah.
We're
Hasn't the
clearly
word
dehumanizing this individual with the use of it, so I think it's very purposeful here.
probably hasn't the singular they existed longer than the singular you?
Yep.
I don't know about that,
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
It was found
but it's
before it was
existed
you.
for a very long time.
You could technically say that the use of a word meaning you is older for singular, but it was thou and you was looked upon as bad to be used in multiple. Or in
Oh
singular,
yeah,
sorry.
thou. Huh.
But
These and thous and most powerful ones. They trip. But he's just using the vernacular that he heard. He's trying to be
Yes.
understanding to this obvious oppression.
I really hate to do this, but to be fair to Enterprise, like they was not like a common pronoun at that time.
It's
Yeah.
not
Hate being
necessarily
fair to
current
Enterprise.
and it was a discussion being had at the time as to what vernacular to use.
Like most
But
non-binary trans people at the time used neopronouns like
Yeah.
like Z
The
or
yeah,
Also, there-
it's odd that there had to be that conversation in the first place, though, given they've been used as singular for.
As far as I'm
Hundreds
aware,
of
there
years.
wasn't really any popular discussion around trans issues.
no, it was very
This
niche.
was 2003.
And I really hate to be fair to Enterprise.
What Enterprise is so good. It's the third best Star Trek show, and I will
That's
stand
such a
by
bad
this.
take.
You're a bad take.
I am a bad take.
Oh, we're not even talking hot take. We're talking actually bad take.
Oh god, he's quoting Hamlet now. I can quote Hamlet too, Tomalak. Shakespeare is the
Read
Star Trek
Shakespeare in
shorthand
one
for
night.
this is a smart man.
finished Shakespeare.
Yes.
Do they have
Read
copies in the
Shakespeare.
original Klingon?
It's like Data. Like you know how Data flips through a book and reads it
Yeah.
magically? That's probably what he did.
Why? Macbeth isn't even that good, man. Have
It
you
is
read
the most
Macbeth?
famous one, but yeah, it's another one.
There are like three
How-
crones who just cackle over a cauldron. They don't do anything.
True. Hamlet is the better one. Is probably the best of them.
Dude cut down an entire forest and made his people carry the trees. You can't do that. How does that work? Unless, no, each of them like went and carried a branch with leaves on it or something. Oh, 3% of the population. So yeah, they're nothing. You can just deal with them however you want then. Are we
Mildly
supposed to
troubled.
hate this
But
man?
technology.
Oh, this is Munez.
Oh yeah.
From Deep
Munez?
Space Nine. He died.
Oh yeah, him. Yeah, he died. That was sad.
And now he's a monster. What's up with that, Munez? You were cool.
Just realised, is the translator, the universe translator, choosing it over they?
No, I think
Yeah.
they're using it on purpose because they dehumanize the Cogenitors.
Yeah.
Well, you have to
Mm.
dehumanize the Cogenitors because they're not human.
Whatever. Hey, Spock.
Even the very
Spock from
term is
Star Trek
racist,
6.
Moon. Human rights.
Humanizing.
Highly offensive,
Yeah,
Captain.
I know you're joking, but humanizing is a more meta term.
Frickin' racist is what it is. Ooh, that's some nice lighting.
I mean, we even call it humanoid.
That's just a standard halogen bulb.
That doesn't make it nice lighting. It's lovely. It's
It
a
is
good
nice, it
halogen
is
bulb.
nice.
About that, Archer, are you sure you're gonna have a relationship at the end of this episode?
I mean, that is the thing. There are a lot of races they meet in Enterprise that just aren't in ever again.
They're relatively small races that don't really join the Federation.
They could show up
I
in
just
New
get it.
Trek.
Look, they're
I
on
mean,
top of the warp
technically,
thingy.
some of them probably do join the Federation because we know there's a lot of sub races which you don't actually meet in TNG or TOS.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Federation has 160 member worlds, so presumably there's at least that many species. And because, like the Zindi case, some of those planets might have multiple species.
Well,
No,
we
each
also
one
know
represents
from-
more a faction, I think. Don't know off the top of
Andoria
my head
has
there.
Andorians and other pale Andorians.
Anar.
They're just
Also,
Andorians.
is an Alpha Centauri, a separate member of the Federation to Earth. So there are multiple worlds of humanity, members of the Federation.
T'Pol
Oh, he
addresses
said
that
it.
same issue.
Yes, human rights. And T'Pol replies, human? Yes, T'Pol, you've done it.
Is Trip gonna be a perfect gentleman?
Nope.
Well, he's gonna
Is
take...
Archer gonna be a massive hypocrite?
Yes. Tucker's just gonna take them to watch a movie and, like, teach them how to read and stuff.
Treat them like a person.
He's not gonna try to
Oh,
seduce the alien.
I mean, what these people do is literally brainwash this entire subrace.
Subrace? I know what you
Well,
mean.
Each individual group is a subrace of the overall race. Or to them,
I
it's a
don't think
subrace.
Subspecies? What do you mean by race here?
Well, race in this context means species.
Yeah.
It's just...
Usually
you just don't use the word race in that
subspecies, are
context
they?
for humans.
In
Or
sci-fi,
humans.
I think the
race and
ANR
species
have
are
to be-
interchangeable.
They are, but you usually don't use it for people in that context. It's technically correct.
That's kind of correct.
Are the ANR a subspecies or a species of Andorian?
I don't know.
Like, I don't think there's any canon evidence that they can interbreed,
pale.
and one of them is telepathic. So that seems like a huge divergence.
Now the question is, for a human to breed with one of these guys, do they need a cogenitor?
Somehow that's possible, and that means technically humans and Vulcans are subspecies of each other. Can you believe that? Isn't that
Yeah.
insane?
When
Because presumably Spock is like not infertile.
But the thing is that Star Trek,
Presumably.
Star
I
Trek
don't know.
tries to
Spock doesn't
explain
have
this.
children. Maybe he is.
Yeah, we
The,
don't
the
ever
writers
establish-
intended to write him having a child in the movies.
Hmm.
So
But they
That
that would have been
didn't.
horrible. I'm glad they didn't.
The interesting
Uh,
thing is Star Trek tries to give an explanation of why they are all similar and humanoids and can breed with each other, except that particularly breeding with each other would, within a few generations, be impossible.
Now, in Enterprise later, they're going to say that it's possible with medical intervention.
Yeah.
They can't just do it.
yeah.
Well, they can just do it, but they can't
Cardassians
just
and
do it, if you know
Bajorans
what I mean.
absolutely can.
That's all established in one of the series, isn't it? That everyone's descended from a common ancestor anyway.
Yep,
that's
TNG.
seeded the galaxy. Yeah, that's TNG, isn't it?
TNG, where the seed race, the seed species, is the founders.
Yeah, they do look like the
Yes.
founders, huh?
They
Doesn't
look
it
like
even
the
use the
founders
same
because it's
actor?
the same. Yes,
Yeah, but they have similar makeup too.
they
It's
do.
not crazy.
Maybe that's why the founders look like that when they turn up, because
They're
that's
the most
first humanoid
pure
race.
evolution.
Well, I'm more thinking they met the first humanoid race, and just always looked like that ever after whenever they interact with humanoids.
Why does Munez look angry here?
Look at his neck.
Is that tofu and a cherry tomato?
Looks like it. I love Star Trek food props.
For humans as well.
Wait, what's up with Munez's neck? What do you mean? I was looking at it just now. It looks like a neck.
Like there's like a line. I don't know if it was a shadow or like some sort of makeup issue in the other scene.
Okay.
It's normal now.
And the translation there for Munez's line is, "We rarely feed it more than once a day."
Yeah. I do like Star Trek completely ignoring human senses. Like, smell is the most important feature to taste for humans as well.
They don't know that. This is Star Trek. They think that evolution is when you turn into a salamander.
No, we'll all turn into crabs.
Carson.
What kind of crabs? Small
I don't
friendly
know.
crabs or giant enemy crabs?
I don't know, just some form of
Hopefully
crab.
small crabs.
And do they have weak spots that you can hit for massive damage?
Historically accurate giant enemy crabs.
Yeah.
This was built by Tom Paris.
Technically can have 5 spatial axes if you mean rotation and stuff like that.
Well, technically you can have arbitrarily many spatial axes. You just have a bunch of axes that are like small angle deviations from each other.
Yeah, that's rotation.
Yes.
I suppose and movement and stuff as well, yeah.
You can have arbitrarily many. For no good
Why
reason,
did
but
Tom
you
Paris
can.
design this guy's cockpit? They have a TIE fighter window, kind of.
Just showing that he can pilot any ship within a couple of seconds of training.
He is a pilot.
This is part of his backstory.
Not of a ship with completely different controls, but
Oh, come on. I complained about Archer being able to fly an alien ship last week. And I was like, nah, he's a pilot. Don't worry about it. He can figure it out. But now he's doing it with help from someone, and you're like, no, he can't do that.
What are you talking about? He can't do that. He's a test pilot. It's like his job. Before he was promoted to starship captain.
It's a pretty common career path.
There they are.
Does Captain Archer actually yell more than other captains, or is this a common misconception?
He doesn't tend to yell per se. He gets a bit more forceful with his words.
I think he's more animated than maybe Picard.
That.
The question is,
No,
is
this
it
is utter
Archer or
barbarity.
Cisco? It's one of the two.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
it's
say,
Archer or Cisco.
Cisco, when he blows up,
You think
blows
it's
up
this?
good.
I think this could be a supercut of Captain shouting.
I mean, I think Cisco, his maximum might be higher.
Cisco also gets 3 more seasons of potential yelling.
You'll have to divide this by episode count.
You have to
obviously,
normalize.
to make it fair.
Does Picard ever? Yeah, he yells once when the "It shall be drawn here, this far, no further."
Yeah.
Does he ever yell in the series though? Like once?
I mean, there are 4 lights is a bit yelly.
Yeah.
He yells in Farpoint when the red alert siren goes on. He's like, "Turn off that damn noise! Get children
yeah.
off the
Yeah.
bridge!"
He yells when there are children around.
Oh yes.
Look,
Is that really TNG or is that just messing around?
this episode where Tucker single-handedly puts our entire civilization back several centuries.
What?
Isn't it wonderful? Tucker puts our civilization in this episode. Tucker puts human civilization back several centuries because they were going to share all this wonderful technology with us, and then Tucker had to
Treat
play
someone like an
amateur
actual person.
psychologist.
How dare he?
I know.
That's not a real person. They're a minority. They're only 3% of the population.
Had
They don't
has an
count.
education.
Look, the needs of the many outweigh
Software.
the needs of the few.
Does Enterprise still do the thing where they have multiple pads, or have they gone wireless yet?
Multiple pads?
Yeah,
you mean like one
in
pad for
Voyager
each document?
There's no such thing as
yeah,
wireless in Star
they
Trek.
like have all the pads like all stacked on their
Everything
desks.
everything is
Um,
wireless in Star Trek, Soma. Everything is wireless. That's how when Rasmussen's door opened up, they were able to disable all the devices that he had stolen. Everything is wireless.
Somewhat, I suppose.
Data
There's
is
no internet in
wireless.
it, though. There is no
We see data plugged in
connection
several-
between ships.
I think the
proper
multiple
true
pad
connection.
thing is like the cutest like fail of Star Trek anticipating technology. They got like the tablet computer down, but they did not get that it could do more than one thing.
Yeah.
No, the problem I
It's
have with
very
that is
funny.
it's something I genuinely do. I do
Well, the
walk around
reason
with
why
3 or 4. I use Kindles at work, and we do walk around with like 3 or 4 of them at a time. It's
Oh, really?
real.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's very Star Trek.
Well-
Do you feel like you're on a Star Trek set?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. It kind of does feel like.
Have you ever
I'm-
like handed out Kindles to people?
like literally, that is something I will do. Is I'll walk around.
It is so awesome.
Yes, Kindles
handing out
have.
Kindles.
The
Wait,
reason
hang on.
Basically,
why
my students do their coursework and submit
Is it
to
multiple
me
Kindles
on a
per
Really,
person,
Enterprise?
or are you walking around with 5 Kindles because you have to hand them to 5 people?
So 5 people will hand me their Kindles. I'll mark their work on them and then hand them back.
Oh, that's different.
I
Look.
suppose.
the reason
But there's
why
still that-
pads can only do one thing at a time is because they didn't want to have to open up the prop and change the silk screened little slide that they stick in their image and the
Yeah.
text. Okay? We all know why.
Remember when they controlled the Enterprise D with a pad?
Mm,
Now that was accurately predicting technology.
Yeah, that was the pad at its full force. And like sometimes like they have these like glimmers of like brilliance. Like in Deep Space Nine, Julian tells Stax to go away with his pad. And It's a very good
That's
scene.
it.
I don't think people were really texting at the time like that.
Yeah, the lack of instant messaging.
Sure they
was
were.
definitely-
Were they? Deep Space Nine's pretty
Yeah.
old, right?
Texting. Yeah, well,
It wasn't like
texting
a thing
texting
until,
was
like,
invented
9.
with pagers. No, SMS
yeah.
texting has been
It's
around for a
niche, right?
long time.
It wasn't mainstream, yeah, but
That's
it
very
did
niche,
exist.
though, right?
Yes,
But that
it
episode was
niche.
probably like what 96,
Like,
97. I think at that
text was
point.
not a verb yet.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
definitely.
There's a funny coincidence which has happened in the live chat. There's someone called Beezy and there's someone called Breezy.
Yes.
Nice.
It's a conspiracy. They're working together.
Well, they seem to have
Working
immediately
together to
started
do
doing
what?
so.
I don't know.
One
I-
to check for the
Chat.
Federation.
That's the question, isn't it? To do what? Are you gonna wait around until you find out forcefully? Or are you going to stop them?
Possible.
That's kind of creepy that she wants to name herself after him. It's like you're kind of clingy. I was just trying to teach you to read.
That's like opening your high school girlfriend's notebook and finding that she's written your surname after her first name hundreds of times,
Oof.
isn't it?
It's like you met a girl off Tinder and then you discover she's already got your name tattooed on her, and it's like, I'm gonna change my number and move.
Okay, hang on. The Cogenitor, this is the first time they have ever had any human interaction. Not, well, human in the meta sense, not in the specific human sense.
But also literally.
So racist.
Everybody they have ever met has treated them like property. Trip is the first person to treat them like a person. I think it's understandable that they would get a little attached pretty quick.
That makes the assumption that attachment is an innate quality rather than something that is a learned behavior.
I am making that
Yeah, in this
assumption.
fiction. Trip is like, you're not gonna have me put my fingers in a bowl of gems, are you?
He was a perfect gentleman. Damn, he really knows how lax Enterprise discipline is.
He's best friends with the captain.
Hey, he can get away with anything.
Yeah, he's one of the senior officers. He's
They're
probably
50
the one
light
in
years
charge
from
of-
Earth. There's no one else qualified to be chief engineer of this ship. What are they gonna do?
Well, depending on what episode we're in, they could get back to Earth in like a day. It's fine.
I mean, we're also pretty early on in the formation of Starfleet. They're not really in their most military-esque. They're basically the merchant fleet in blue jumpsuits at the moment.
Well, NASA.
Speaking of
Yeah.
militarist, it's really weird how militaristic TNG Season 1 is. Everyone's so stiff and formal, and then they just relax totally later on. Everyone's using all this jargon.
Wait, Tucker, can now go to Warp 5.1? What have you been doing to this engine?
I think it's just the acting is stiffer.
Even the
Season 1.
terminology they use, though. It's just...
Such as?
Honestly, I don't remember most of Season 1. I'd have to look it up now.
Turn off
I've
that
tried to block
damn
it from my
noise.
memory.
Get that child off my bridge.
Maybe they were trying to get away from some of the campiness and then realised that that's bad call.
Are you not on duty right now? You can just sit and watch a movie? I guess.
Yeah.
Why is he hanging out with her at all?
She's not a her. Maybe. It's not clear, actually.
Well, it is neither a he or a she.
It's a third gender, obviously. It's a them. But
Them.
the person under the makeup, I believe, is a she in real
Yes.
life.
Yes.
So I would forgive people for making that assumption. because we've got like 2.5 million years of evolution in our brains telling us that is a lady underneath that. So
Oh, shit.
Has
Wait,
anybody
does Trip
tried to beat
playing
you at this?
Go? Is that like a thing? That
It's like an offshoot of Go. Yeah.
like is this like a no? Go is a cool game and all. It's really awesome and whatnot. But like, Trip plays Go. Like, is this the only time this is mentioned that like not only does he play Go, but he's so good he's been undefeated in 2 years.
Have they been having
well,
shit like
just
Go
because he
chat?
has a southern drawl doesn't mean he's a moron. Okay.
He is an engineer.
Yeah, he is an engineer. He is the best engineer in Starfleet. Come on.
Yeah, it's really weird when you think about that he probably knows a lot about math. Can you believe Trip
What?
Tucker knows anything about math?
Yeah, at this level, he's probably got multiple like advanced
He just-
degrees in math.
Mhm.
Just
He
because he
knows
doesn't present
more
like
math
is
than any living
jealous.
human today. Living or dead human today.
Whoa.
Paul is a little jelly.
Trip literally knows more about math than Einstein.
This is true.
Yeah.
Granted,
How
a
much
lot
do
of
you
people
know about
probably do,
Einstein
because it
now?
was a long time ago. But
Einstein was like a theoretical physicist in
he was a patent clerk. What does
1930.
he know?
he was a patent clerk. Hey, I just had an interesting
tell you
idea.
about tensor calculus, though, so you know.
You probably know.
I just had an interesting idea. There's some part of the ship that's farther forward than any other part of the ship, right?
Sure.
Do you suppose when the Enterprise crew is off duty, sometimes some of them get together and they take turns sitting or standing at that point of the ship and being the furthest person from Earth for a little bit?
And saying they're king of the world? What?
I don't know. Just be like, I'm the furthest person from Earth right now. Like, they
Oh,
get your name in a
Tucker, you've
log.
done messed up.
I mean, yeah, considering how they seem to be allowed to just wander into crawl spaces whenever they feel like, yeah, probably. Probably there's some crewmen that, yeah, just sit behind the deflector dish and are like, I am the most forward human being.
Remember when they were reading articles from kids, like reading in letters and questions from kids and recording a video for a school class?
That was really
Why don't you
cute.
do that more often?
That was
Oh,
really cute.
really?
I'm here for
I
that.
assume they do that all the time. It's just not on camera anymore.
I remember them astronauts on the space shuttle doing that when I was in school.
Yeah.
Astronauts on the ISS pretty much have to do that constantly. So, yeah, I presume these guys are doing it always.
Well, they won't for much longer, unfortunately.
Oh, is Archer gonna yell? No, he's talking
Yells all the
quietly
time.
but angrily.
He has a point. Like, Trip honestly has a point here. Archer
Yes.
is the king of doing dumb shit.
Archer would totally do this if this was an Archer episode.
Yeah.
But all he does is disobey orders and do dumb shit, Archer. What were you thinking? Remember that time they crawled into Jeffrey's tube on B'Elanna's space station? Do you remember that, Archer?
Yeah.
Yeah, but she ended up being right there, so it's all good.
Probably right here too.
I think this qualifies as yelling.
Oh yeah,
This
for
is
sure.
Yeah.
this is an Archer yell, without a doubt.
Archer hates reading.
Their culture is based on
That's what the real
oppression.
problem is here.
Archer, maybe their culture sucks. Have you thought about that, Archer?
Did
Yes,
you
but his
know
whole
the
point is it's not for
cultural
us to decide.
relativism?
Well, Archer is calling them a her, which I guess is progress from it.
Yeah.
Legally, no, you actually don't. You have no rights. Your property. Morally, you do, but legally, nah, you got nothing.
I think in other shows, the Cogenitor would have requested asylum.
Oh, they
Mm.
will.
And then
At Trip's suggestion.
Or at least Trip tries to convince them to request asylum.
We're not on our world, but the ship is governed by our world's laws
Yeah.
because we fly under its flag. So
Also, who is that
the
lady?
ship is
I
probably
recognize her from
technically
somewhere.
part of. The ship is United Earth soil, is it not? Like presumably, when you step on the
No,
ship,
but
you're.
we'd probably treat like deep space like that, like international waters, where you're just under the rule of whatever flag that you're flying. So
Yeah, like if I were to like
Definitely.
go onto an aircraft carrier,
If I was to go onto an
I can't
aircraft
be like,
carrier
Lamau, it's not your country.
and take them onto my ship, that other ship couldn't just come on my ship and say we want them back. Yeah, it'd have to go. Well, I mean, yeah.
This does broach the very fine line of brainwashing. It is a fine line even in thought, because theoretically teaching anything is a form of brainwashing, and it depends what values you place on different things. It's all very subjective. Like Star Trek places equal value on every job, which is different to what our current understanding is.
Unfortunately, we don't have long enough left in the episode to have a tribunal or a hearing.
Yes.
Good.
Soma, I
I'm very
disagree.
tired of
We've had
that.
a whole episode where Trip expounds on how the
hearings.
captain is the most important component of the ship.
He was also crazy at the time.
Do any
Yeah.
of the other
Well,
shows have this same
I
like
think
messianic devotion to the captain that Enterprise
Certainly
does?
by TNG, every job is of equal.
starting with TNG. Okay.
I said certainly by TNG, every job is considered
Okay.
equal value, but you get different. You do get
So-
different status from the different positions.
Like Archer in the
So,
text is the most important human to have ever lived. Like
to Ryan's
we see the world.
note. To Ryan's note about them being crazy, they may have been crazy, but I think it just magnified their like innate predilections as opposed to creating new ones. Like they just, you know what I'm saying? Like Archer got super obsessive because he's obsessive, and yeah. Anyway,
True.
And no, everyone just got super obsessive because they're obsessive. It just made everyone obsessive about something that they would obsess about.
So going back to obsession with the captain, the only thing
So
I remember
Phlox is
from
Phlox
TOS
is like Joseph Mengele.
is Kirk and Spock talking, and he says, either one of us individually is expendable, but both of us are not. So apparently the captain isn't as important as Archer is as captain.
Yeah.
Can get rid
Yeah,
of Kirk, it's whatever.
But like it's insane like how important this guy is to the narrative.
Porthos.
Like I don't think
Yeah.
any of the other shows treat
Yeah.
it like
Michael Burnham.
this guy
Michael Burnham
died.
gets
She's
is
not
kind of
even the
Burnham
captain
saves the
for
universe pretty
3/4
common.
of the show.
Michael
Yeah.
Burnham.
Yeah.
Michael Burnham.
Yeah, if Michael Burnham were to die, presumably someone else would have saved the world. Right? It's not like Michael Burnham is like this prophesied figure that there's this guy
No.
from the future coming back to tell how
Kind
fucking
of.
important he is.
Michael Burnham.
They
Michael
say
Burnham is
that,
special and
in
unique,
universe that
and no one else could
saved
do
the
what
galaxy
Michael Burnham
twice.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
Michael
they actually
Burnham is
talk about it
special
like
and
that.
unique, and
That was objectively a bad decision. Like
Oh,
Michael was in the
here,
wrong.
wait, we got the
That's what
tragedy.
the show said.
The Cogenitor killed themselves. Themselves?
I want to
Themselves?
point out to
So,
Archer,
said.
if T'Pol agrees with your course of action, it's probably the immoral choice.
Belle's usually right. She's not always right, but she usually is.
She's usually cold and logical, meaning that her choices are the more immoral choice.
Well, morality and logic are not like in any way.
Exclusive, no.
Yeah, they're not related to each other.
Let
In fact,
it
morality
alone.
is a kind of logic, I'd say. Well, it's 100% logic.
Yeah, I feel like you would say leave it alone, right?
Let it alone is a thing that I hear people use, but I've never heard an American say that.
But
There's a lot
what
of really
region is that
weird
from?
sayings
Because I
for an
wonder if the
American.
writer is from. Yeah, I wonder if the writer is from some area where they say "let it alone."
Like, as a British
Champs
person,
at the
I would
bit.
think of "let it alone" as being an Americanism.
I would say it's a Europe
That's
thing as an
interesting.
American.
Yeah, it might be a South thing.
I wouldn't expect to hear "let it alone"
Well-
from a British person.
There
I've
was an
heard it a
interview
lot
with
from
the,
Irish YouTubers.
I would expect "let
That's
it
interesting.
be." I would expect "let it be," and I would expect "leave it alone." It's a sort of mishmash of the two.
There was a interview with the guy who played Will Robinson, and he was friends with Stephen Ira Bear, and he did an episode of Deep Space Nine, the one where they're fighting on that planet against the Jem'Hadar, and he gets killed. Anyway, he was talking about how he wanted to change a word in one of the lines from like "you are" to "your," and there was like an executive on set who was like, if you're gonna change a line, we're gonna have to run this by the writers and get approval. Like, so whatever Archer said is probably exactly what was written. Like, it's not
Yes.
the actor changing it or improvising it. So somebody intentionally wrote "let it alone," and I want to know why.
Oh, and this one's the board episode.
All right,
as
let's
well.
find out who wrote that episode. Enterprise.
Maybe you could send an email.
Cogenitor.
You have a YouTube channel. You can plug
I'm
that
gonna
and
miss
be
these
like,
two good
hey, I run
episodes,
a
unfortunately.
popular Star Trek YouTube channel. I was wondering why
I
you
can
wrote
just-
Archer to say let it alone.
It was written by Rick
Well, now he
Berman and
runs-
Brandon Braga. American.
Now he runs a renegade Star Trek YouTube channel.
Well, they don't need to know that. Just say I'm a popular Star Trek YouTuber with X
I'm
followers.
very popular.
And I'd love to hear why you chose Archer's dialect to be such.
Okay, 1 minute to Regeneration. Everyone
You
queue
can
up
really-
Regeneration. 1 minute.
You can write a nice paragraph about that.
Yeah, try and watch the first 10
Telling
minutes.
like, oh, I love Enterprise, third best Star Trek series.
Ryan could definitely refer to himself.
And like y'all,
right
you really
now
did the best
as-
you could with the resources you were given.
I think Ryan could say he is currently the world's
Ryan-
foremost enterprise streaming YouTuber.
Probably. Yes.
Probably.
Ryan, I have very important argument for you to make when you appeal. I would say that the person who did the initial review wasn't familiar enough with the source material to
Yes, I
realize
considered that.
how much the scenes have changed from the original edit, and that your editing is so
I'm just so good at
it's
my
so
job,
well
you didn't
done.
even notice.
It's so well done.
Hang on,
You're
press
right,
play
you
in
didn't-
5,
You don't realize
4,
how different it is because
3,
it looks perfect.
2,
Yeah,
One.
unironically.
That is what happened.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, do that.
other than like the one you just posted where like it's clearly a VHS rip and the quality goes
Yes.
from HD
Anything
to, like,
from season 1
the
TNG is going to look
320p.
like that. That's just it.
Oh hey, this is a
Well,
good
anyway,
episode.
put it onto the new
It's
To my-
silly
to my
fan
point-
service, but it's a good
to my
action
point,
episode.
you need to make that argument
Okay, I'll
and really
consider
drive
that.
that home and emphasize the original stuff that you've created.
Okay, so one of the things buried in the snow here is this front half of the saucer section of the Enterprise E.
Yes, it is.
It really?
The
That's so
prop,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's like half the size of a person, and it's here somewhere.
they know it's taller. Yeah, you'll see it. It's unmistakable. The Enterprise E saucer section. They used it for debris and they just stuck it in the shot.
Which is extra appropriate because all of this debris
You ready?
was caused by the Enterprise E.
Right. Why are
episode's
people
really
like this?
good.
Why are like, hey, we found some weird aliens frozen. Let's thaw them out.
Yeah, why not?
Wouldn't you?
This is why we had The Thing. Oh, we should do a watch party for The Thing. Seeing as how
What
this is
thing?
basically just The Thing, the movie, the John Carpenter's The Thing. This is just a rip of The Thing. It's like a shot-for-shot remake with Borg instead of The Thing, right? So
And honestly, they do a good job making the Borg scary again.
Yes, those of you
Nice
who
episode.
are the slower members of the audience, these Borg are from Star Trek First Contact when they traveled back in time and Archer shot him down.
Damn, you're calling people slow for
Picard
Yes.
shot them
having
down?
not understood the ridiculous
Archer.
continuity
Yes.
of Star
Picard.
Trek.
Yes.
That's rude.
Like, Stroopy. Don't. We see how well it goes when, or rather, how badly it goes when T'Pol is in command rather than Archer.
I think this is pretty clear proof, though, that Enterprise is not in the Prime timeline.
I think it's clear
mean,
evidence that all of Star Trek's timeline is a mess and you shouldn't worry about it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Unironically, that's true. Like, it's like they say in Mystery Science Theater. Like, it's just a show.
Well,
Just relax.
So
Gene Roddenberry
so the-
literally only cared about continuity for the first 2 seasons of TNG.
Oh, God. TNG is such a
So-
mess.
I've heard people explain that the reason why the Kelvin Enterprise is so much bigger and more advanced than TOS Enterprise was because the Borg technology that was found here, we used that to like make more advanced ships, and that's why
Hmm.
the timelines diverged.
But the Kelvin
Well, also,
Enterprise isn't
they-
even green.
Also, they had to expand it harder.
Borg is one
I
green.
don't
because
recognize
they were
this
under fire.
species.
If it's not,
See it right there.
it's
It's
not
right in
green,
the
it's
background.
not a Borg.
That's the saucer section behind the woman.
Hmm.
Sorry, I
Wait,
didn't
didn't
mean
they
to.
blow up the saucer section? Is this a continuity mistake then?
No. It's a saucer
It's not
section
really
no,
the
no,
saucer, it's
Enterprise
just the
E.
No.
prop.
You mean the deflector dish, right?
No,
we
the
mean
saucer
the
No, the
actual
saucer.
saucer section.
The one that they
It-
used to crash into
It's
Shin's
not.
other
it
ship?
is.
and
No,
It's
it
not
was-
this is-
canonically the there it is.
That is, huh?
Yeah.
It's not
That totally
canonically the
is.
saucer. It's just the prop that they reused for debris.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This
I bet it is the one that
Enterprise
they used to crash into Shinzon's ship. Because
The
that's a
Enterprise,
No, that was all
practical
digital.
effect. If you don't... No.
Oh,
The
it was
crashing
practical?
is one of the last like really awesome practical effects.
Are you
in Star
thinking
Trek.
of? Are you thinking of the crash at the end of Generations?
No, I'm talking
No.
about when the
Insurrection.
Enterprise like
Crashes
I don't
into
know.
the scimitar.
Yeah.
When
Yeah, it's a
Picard rams the
practical effect.
scimitar and gives everybody in the saucer section like 12 seconds to get out of the saucer section.
Here, I'm
Picard's like,
very
I'm just
sure.
gonna throw about 600 people at this other ship and see how that goes.
Yeah, because the Enterprise E was a completely CGI ship, except for in this one shot where they crash it into the scimitar. I'm sure of this.
In First Contact, it was a physical model, and then
Was
they
it?
never used the physical model.
What do you
again,
mean
yes.
theme in mostly the EM
It was
spectrum?
the most
That's the
most
entire
beautiful.
spectrum.
That was the most beautiful, one of the most beautiful physical models they had. And then, like the whole reason why they destroyed the Enterprise D, they wanted an action piece at the end of the movie, and they hated working with the Enterprise D model. And then, so they made the Enterprise E model, which was much easier to work with. And then they stopped using it after First Contact. So it's like, why not just do a CG Enterprise D instead? Anyway, yeah.
But the Enterprise E is beautiful, so that's why.
I think it's kind of ugly. It looks better
The-
than Voyager.
The D just
I'll give it
doesn't
that.
look like it works
D is
in a
awful.
high intensity situation.
Yeah.
The D has one good angle that looks good from, and that's
The-
like under
like-
the saucer section, looking up at
Yeah.
it. But all the other
D is a-
angles looks really derpy.
I think it looks good from the side.
It's
I think it
too
looks good from the
wide.
back.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's just a floating luxury apartment
Regenerating
building.
tissue? Why do you say regenerating? Why do you use that word? That arm looks like it has a harpoon in it. Does that hook have a grapple shot? That Borg? Oh god, the Borg could be like Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
No, you should definitely freeze them again.
Yes.
Can we have a force field? Can we call Starfleet? Can we take literally one precaution?
No, that's not how Starfleet does things.
Oh, for those of us who play Halo or Dying Light, if you link your Microsoft account to Twitch and you link your Game Tech whatever account to Twitch and Steam, and you have a stream open of a particular Halo stream, it's not any Halo stream, but for Dying Light, it's any Dying Light stream, you can get in-game items this weekend.
Yes.
So if you want those skins, Ryan, you'll want to
I don't.
do that. They're cool skins.
There's a skin for the pistol, which is nice.
Also, if you link your
Yeah,
Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, you can get Stellaris for free on GOG.
Yes.
That's a
Oh, you
shame. I paid
can?
money for
So
that game.
unfortunately, the GOG version
Me
has
too.
problems connecting with Steam versions.
It is hypothetically
Well,
compatible,
at
it's
least
just
it
a little
doesn't
bit of
have-
work.
Yeah.
At least it doesn't have the problem that you had, which was disconnect everybody in the server.
Yeah,
when you
crash
first-
everybody else somehow.
That still makes no sense.
It makes perfect sense. Game First is a buggy piece of shit software.
Yeah, but for it to cause the host
So
to have problems.
so this guy does have a
'Cause this-
gun, but he's... I feel like you should carry it with you.
That's
think
probably
that the
for
reason why-
Protones rather than Borg.
And the reason why it causes the host to crash is that you're asking the host, like, Game First is negotiating the network connection with the host, and it causes some type of glitch on their client, and just
3
Builds
megabits.
it.
No more. Oh? They're waking up. Gun. Get the gun. Don't just stare at him. Get the gun.
Scanning him.
Don't scan him. Get the gun.
He's got on Cyberman.
Gun. Gun.
Oh, guns don't work.
Oh,
on
no.
Borg.
Just lean in real close.
Wait, plot hole. The Borg are already adapted to like the 24th
No,
century phasers.
these-
So
these
why the
pistols-
hell are they?
These
Why the
pistols
hell-
aren't the same as the later pistols in TOS.
These are phase rifles. They're not phasers. They're different.
Yeah, but presumably they're shittier. So if they're already like evolved to
They'll
handle
have a
the,
they will have a
the Worf
different.
shoots at them.
In any case, I don't think it's a plot hole because we don't see the guns actually work at all.
And also they
No Borg are taken down here.
and they simply they don't connect to the actual rest of the board anyway.
No, don't get a medical
Send a
kit, get a
mess-
gun.
look.
Send a message.
Yeah, just every Starfleet vessel should have a couple containers full of like M4s ready to go for the Borg, just in case.
We never see if they can adapt to physical weapons, though. Because we only shoot them once.
I don't
So
don't
the
think they
interesting
can.
juxtaposition here is like in TNG, the Borg's mass, like how big and powerful they are, is what makes them scary. But here, it's only one Borg is needed to be scary.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this episode's actually pretty good. And that messes with
Hey,
canon.
Argos, when did you get here?
It's fun.
Just now.
Welcome
Why
aboard.
Why
hopefully
did
this
Admiral
first room is
Forrest
out
walk
soon.
into this room they hadn't even secured yet? What's up with that,
This-
Admiral?
He's a hands-on admiral. He likes to get.
didn't
down
even have
in
a
the dirt
gun.
with his officers.
He just walked in.
Yeah, I bet he'd save your life in an explosion, even.
Yeah, he'd shield your body with
They-
his own.
Abducted the research team. Sure.
They
That
They
is a
are
weird
the
word.
research
the
team.
research team.
Would you say that maybe they were?
Okay, I have the research team now.
I would say that they are, yes. They either are or are not, and as of now, they are. So the Borg just hijacked a ship?
Yes.
Did they wander to the nearest town through the snow? Some very dramatic music.
Yes.
And a very dramatic button-up that Archer has under his uniform. So how's the weather?
My favorite
Well-
Borg episode is when Chakotay is assimilated by those rogue Borgs.
Oh, yeah, those folk. The cooperative, I think they end up calling themselves?
Yeah, it's even a single episode romance. Wow,
With a Borg? Gross.
can you believe that? Maybe that's why Chakotay was into 7.
Yeah, I'm with Flux here. Just replace all the meat parts. I don't need those. I
Right.
would much rather have
Flux.
steel.
How would you like to be a Phlox golem with?
What if we could never feel anything, Ryan?
I'm not saying to replace the brain. Replace all the other flesh bits.
Well, but the thing is, like, those mechanical things are just not going to have the resolution for, the feeling of, like, if when you pet your dog, with your hand, you're not going to get that serotonin release because you're not going to have any sensation, or you're going to have, like, this simulation of sensation, and it's going to be.
We're talking about different things. I want to replace the liver and the heart and the stomach and the esophagus. I want to replace all the organs.
What about the rest of your body? You're going to have all these mechanical parts, and then the meat sac around it is just going to decay. So eventually, you're going to want to replace the meat sac.
Well, eventually, sure. Replace the sack.
That's kind of the problem we already have. We're already a
Okay.
decaying meat sack.
Machine god worshipper.
I'd rather be more machine now than man.
Ooh,
I
that's
mean,
such a
I'm
good
like-
way
If
to
you can
put
find a
it.
way, stop the telomeres degrading, then
Would you
your meat sac
become
won't
Major
degrade.
Gren?
No, I would never just mindlessly bash every new episode that comes out. I wouldn't do that.
So, did you hear about a push to have Enterprise brought back and
That'd
finished?
be cool. I'm here for it.
I've been down for that, but
Yeah.
I still won't
A
sign
number
up for
one
Peacock
Enterprise
or
hater here,
whatever
and I'd
it's
be down
called,
for it.
or Paramount Plus.
This is one of the most dramatic music episodes in the entire series.
Has its own soundtrack. This isn't reused music. This is just for this episode.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the Enterprise cast are doing anything, so that would actually be really cool.
Also, yes, Scooby, shots were just fired. I'm glad you noticed.
The real question is, could they get Mr. Shran to show up?
I'm sure we could get Jeff as a Borg or something.
In Enterprise?
Sure. Jeff could be a
It's
Borg
funny
in
they
this
did that,
episode, and
and
you would never know.
and they're
Sneak right
rebooting
in.
Quantum
Just-
Leap, like all the Scott Bakula properties.
Just to be clear, this is however many hundreds of years before Next Generation, and Phlox is going to create an effective treatment for the nanoprobes, right? For 24th
Yeah, he's gonna cure it,
century
don't worry about it.
nanoprobes, not just nanoprobes,
wondering
24th
how
century
he-
nanoprobes.
If you're wondering how he eats or breathes or other science facts, repeat to yourself, it's just a show.
To be
I'm
fair,
just look.
Nerd,
I'm just trying
the
to.
cure he develops does almost kill him.
I think it does kill him technically, right? And then he like
Maybe.
comes back.
It's like
Is
a
it not like
zombie.
a radiation
died
therapy
and then
that
was
would kill
revived
most
by
organisms?
7 of 9.
It's like incredibly intense chemo. It's
Yeah,
super
To my
chemo.
point, to my point, it's just
he just
that
has a really
how come-
complex body, so he's okay.
how come if we've encountered this at this point in history and we've developed a treatment of sorts,
Because it would kill the
Uh,
host.
how is it that we didn't know about it? The Borg were surprised when Picard encountered them. You think every captain would be briefed, hey, there's these creatures out there that might be really dangerous, these cybernetic creatures, look out.
Well, if you read what's on the screen right now, that's
Yeah.
Zephyr Cochrane warning everyone about the cybernetic zombies. They already knew.
I assume they forget that. I assume that they just guess that it's over for now and forget about it.
Yeah, they don't see them for another 200 years and just go, that.
I mean, say someone has like the measles and you incinerate them. Yes, you've cured the measles, but it's kind of defeating the point.
I think canonically the best way to solve it is like assume that these Borgs are like sick and wounded, and so they're not
Yeah.
like as powerful as a normal Borg force, right?
There's only a couple of them spreading their nanoprobes around.
We have 5 Borg right now, I think, in the collective.
Like maybe Borg don't like being frozen. They're very particular about their temperature control. Like we know they can survive in space, but we don't know if that's good for them.
They don't seem too bothered, to be honest.
Like they care
don't
so much about temperature
really-
control. The first thing they assimilate on the Enterprise E
Oh
is
yeah, and they
its
raise the
temperature system.
temperature.
Like
I think
that's
that's
the
about
first thing they
efficiency
do.
rather than about preserving bodies.
Why is the first priority of the Borg when they take over a ship to get cozy?
Well, maybe it's more than that. Maybe the Borg they function
have to
best
look
at this
wet.
temperature, and they're not very
Well,
good in
geez.
other temperatures.
We can see the
So who
nanoprobes are much
knows?
less effective here because they're barely it's taking a long time to take over the bodies.
It was a really good
I think
choice
that's
of
just for dramatic
Picard to
effect.
change the way that
I know,
or not
but
Picard,
it's part of the point.
the first contact to change
Flux
the
is
way that the
snapping.
nanoprobes work. Like the injection tubule things are really scary, and the way that the implants erupt from inside the body is much scarier than like in Best of Both Worlds, where they like chop Picard up.
First Contact, totally changed the way the Borg worked, right? Up until First Contact, the Borg were just interested in acquiring all of your technology and using your civilization as raw material, right? And then after First Contact, it was the nanoprobe.
The Borg were better as a concept then, though.
And stuff. Before or after First Contact?
They were better as a concept before First Contact, when they were more interested in technology than warm bodies. But aesthetically, the upgrade for First Contact with the erupting implants and the injection is a huge step up in just scare factor.
Before First Contact, the Borg would have been hypothetically a singular race that had, cyberneticized. You get what I'm saying? And then after First Contact, it's every species that they run into, they absorb into them, right? So
yeah, I like the first Borg better. What if they ever go back to exploring the Borg? They should try and have the Borg try and join the Federation or something. That would be cool.
Oh God.
Awkward.
It'd be awesome. What if the Borg collective as a whole requests asylum? I am one individual. I am the Borg. I want friends. That'd be really
how
cool.
they slide stuff in Enterprise all the time. Like he injected me with some kind of tubules. Like that's something you hear constantly on Voyager. Tubules, and they just slide it right in there.
Why did they let 7 of 9 keep her weapon?
I don't think we could
when
get
she
it
was
out
still
of her.
hostile, she still had those tubules in her arm. Jaina could have had the Doctor remove them.
Well, he says
Maybe
at one point that he could
back.
only remove so much, before it would
No, you could
just
just
kill her.
remove her hand.
She's just gonna be
You can't just chopping off people's limbs.
Yes, you can. When the hand is a deadly weapon and 7 is
feel like
actively fighting you, absolutely.
We could just make her wear gloves.
You can even grow a new hand in this setting, so it doesn't even matter.
You're walking around with an oven mitt on.
Or like gauntlets. She could wear gauntlets.
And honestly,
It
I think
wouldn't
that's
work
kind of
though, 'cause
shitty
the tubules
of
go straight through the oven. mate.
Janeway to more or less abduct Seven against her will.
She doesn't have will, though. She is the Borg.
Yeah, after she leaves the collective, like there's like a few episodes where she's just a prisoner. And Janeway's like, and she's like, I want to leave. And Janeway's like, you cannot leave. That's not allowed. And I'm going to keep you in my brig. And she like attempts to escape. It's kind of fucked up. Like
She was...
Yeah, but the Borg are the bad
Seven
guys,
was
and she
like
was trying to get
Stockholm
to the bad
syndromed
guys.
up.
Yeah.
it's
It was a
like, you know,
child that was
Starfleet,
abducted.
they value autonomy until they don't.
Until you get Borged.
Mhm.
Which is, justifiable.
Oh yeah,
Consider
they
what the
did
Borg would
assimilate
get up
different
to.
species in Best of Both Worlds.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
did.
totally did.
But like they didn't
um,
assimilate people. Like that wasn't their goal.
Do you know that
That was
episode
just their
where
reproduction.
you know that episode where the Doctor wakes up in
I
a
don't
museum?
think that there was anything in Best of Both Worlds that implied they assimilated other species, other than them wanting to convert Picard into
Now, hang on.
an avatar for the.
As Mr. Sox has pointed out,
I'm gonna head
Locutus
off and watch the
traitor. As Locutus says,
live thing now.
to Worf, Klingon species, a warrior race, you too will be assimilated. We only wish to raise quality of life for all species.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So anyway,
Assimilate everyone.
you know that episode where the Doctor is in a museum?
Good.
Is 7 of 9 on Voyager by that point?
Yeah. Maybe.
'Cause I'm just trying to remember
Yes,
what
yes,
role
she
she
is.
plays on like the recreation of the warship.
In the recreation,
Voyager.
she's actually full Borg, and she has like 2 other Borg
It's so
with her,
cool.
and they're
Oh,
a
yeah,
security
yeah.
team.
Because
That
she
episode was
assimilates someone,
awesome.
didn't she?
Yeah, invaders
she has like her
get
little
on the ship,
Borg's
and
death squad.
Janeway calls her as like, "Oh, intruders are in
That-
engineering. Remove them."
That's what Janeway could have had.
So
wasted it.
cool.
A Borg hit squad.
The
It was
Borg hit
awesome.
squad's like the best kind of hit squad possible. Completely obedient and extremely effective.
Open the doors, Archer. Use the power of the
Borg.
doors.
This is like in
This will not be the first time
FTL
we play
when you're boarded and you need to like get the doors closed, but the door system is offline, and now the doors on your spaceship don't work.
Door. Door. Door.
Have you
Do
guys
it.
played FTL,
Yes.
the video game?
The power of the doors.
That game is so cool.
There we go.
Thank God someone used the doors. Finally. The
Yeah,
doors
they
solve
agonize over
so
it
many
a lot,
problems.
but we know they're Borg and they don't.
Those Borg are going to be picked up by passing Pac-Led vessel, and we're going to get some more Borg.
Is that why the Pac-Led are the way they are in Lower Decks?
I like that the Pac-Lids are the villains
Yes.
of Lower Decks.
Another Enterprise.
The thing is,
No
they don't get taken
Pac-Leds.
seriously in the Lower Decks, but they
beaten
actually are a
Captain
powerful
Janeway.
enemy.
And they have triangle ships embedded into their big ships.
That's so awesome. I didn't notice.
Like the front
When are we
beak
doing
thing
the Lower
is the
Decks
triangle
watch-along?
ship.
I want pasta. Oh my god, is that Tasha Yar's hologram that she gave Data? That little hexagon thing with the plants in it? It totally is, isn't it?
Yeah. I think you're right.
He's trying to feed him
Damn,
Don't
I
worry
hope
about it.
I'm right. Because
airline
if so, that would
dinners.
be like a
Ugh.
top tier prop spot.
Yes, thank you, Lieutenant Reed. Give everyone a gun. Wait, they only have like 15 guns, don't they?
I think they have like a whole armory.
But in the bit where Archer and T'Pol are kidnapped, the kidnappers demand guns for ransom. They're like, no, we don't. Even if we wanted to give in to their demands, we don't physically have enough guns.
Would you be completely truthful to a ransomer?
No, that wasn't telling to the ransomer. That was like talking with the staff after the call.
I see.
Like, we can't give in to their
Oh, I
demands. We only
guess.
have a few guns.
Let me Google Tasha's hologram. Because if so, I am a god. Oh my god, I think I'm right.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Oh, maybe the only reason Phlox's treatment works is because his body as a denobulan is somehow resistant to the nanoprobes.
I think he says
Yeah,
something
that's what
like,
they say. He says
Yeah.
something
it's
like that. I don't know why they didn't
genetically
use
engineered, so
denobulan death squads to deal with the Borg then, but
nah.
it also sounds good. Denobulan death squad.
We did already have an
It's just a
episode
bunch of-
describing that the denobulans were vicious warriors.
Yes.
Hey, Soma, are you doing the Halo skin
Soma's not here.
thing? Oh, fuck.
He went to go watch some Q&A or something.
Oh.
I
Shoot.
posted the Tasha hologram, by the way.
Ah, yes, cross-polarize the power cells to increase the particle yields.
What
yes.
is he saying?
Yes. He's saying to cross-polarize the particle fields or something.
Oh, what does that mean?
Don't worry about it.
They're
cross-polarized.
Polarization. Does anyone
They're-
know?
It's like polarization, but cross.
Text attack, and now it works.
I understand polarization, but not cross polarization. Is that like if you get two
You
magnets and like cross them over each other?
like you have a positive and a negative. You make the positive negative. You make the negative positive. You
And then
cross
how do you cross it?
them. That is the cross.
Also, like reverse polarization.
Sure.
Yeah, you just flip both polarizations.
You reverse all polarizations. Yes, not just one polarization.
And that increases
all
the
of them.
yield how?
Don't worry about it. It just does.
Because argle barble mumble jumble.
Wait, what are we cross polarizing again? Just so that I can remember.
A polarizing.
Some wires.
Cross polarizing something polarized.
The hull plating. If they just cross polarize the
How
hull
many
plating,
things
the
can be
yield would be
polarized in
increased.
Star Trek?
Poor Phlox is all sick and unhappy.
It is sad.
It's okay.
Come
Just
to
put some
sick bay.
leeches on yourself. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Come to sick bay, he says. Get assimilated.
He's got to have an anti-nanoprobe leech in there.
Oh,
Do we
the
like
leech would
that
get
the
like
Paul- or
nanoprobed. That would be
Phlox
awful.
uses leeches or not?
It'd become like a cybernetic leech.
There we go.
No, those
he
phaser
uses an
rifles are really
osmotic
cool.
eel that kind of works like a leech.
No, he has leeches, I'm sure.
Sometimes when I'm just looking at a
Omicron.
human, all I can see.
Omicron.
Okay.
Even the Borg can't resist Omicron.
All I can see sometimes when
Resistance
I'm
is
looking at a
futile.
human is like, wow, we look a lot like monkeys. And even through Phlox's makeup, I'm looking at him and it's like, yeah, he looks like a monkey. Because we are monkeys.
Wow.
We
It's
are
the way
apes,
that-
actually.
Well,
Yeah,
he
I
has
know
those
that
like ridges
doesn't it?
around his eyes that orangutans have, so
I was
that's
thinking
probably why.
the dips between the nose and the mouth on the sides. It has the indent, the long lines. The lines around the mouth.
Oh, he gave him a shot that'll instantly kill him.
Yeah,
Yes.
at least they've stopped testing their weapons in front of the warp core.
Yeah, thank God.
Oh, or like when TNG they had a plasma rifle pointed right at the warp core and they were testing it.
Yeah, one of y'all posted that.
It's shielded. It's fine.
I don't know. There's an episode where they're pointing a phaser at the warp core, threatening to destroy
As
the
a threat.
ship.
Yeah, they added the
Yeah.
shielding after
they
that
took it very
episode because they
seriously.
realized this is a stupid thing.
I don't know.
Also
about
pretty
that,
cool how the
Ryan.
Borg ship evolves in this episode. Look, if Star Trek doesn't care what evolution is, I don't either. Any change
Speaking
is
of evolution again, I don't understand how people don't believe that we're related or that we are apes, because seriously, just look at a human and look at an ape. They look the same, except we don't have hair.
Look at a baby
Well,
ape,
some
they
of
look
us
identical.
don't have hair.
We look basically exactly the same as an ape, because we are an ape.
Especially like when the ape is a baby. We're like
Yes.
neonatal apes.
They look exactly the same.
Yeah, like an ape skull is like the same as a baby skull. It's pretty scary.
It's some kind of activation sequence.
But generally, when those sort of people like deny
God.
evolution, they say, "Oh, God did X to, like, as a trick, like
Yeah.
to test our faith."
The devil planted the dinosaur bones in the earth.
Yeah,
How
I went to
come-
church with
fool
someone like
us?
that when I was little. And my
fool
parents
us.
were mad at me for arguing with her about it.
But
'cause I
why
was
is a
like, yeah,
Borg
no.
infection just a screensaver?
Dinosaurs are real. And she was like, "No, dinosaurs are fake because God
Well,
is testing our faith."
The Klingon infection's also a screensaver.
See, if you think God would test our faith by putting bones in the earth, but fossils in the earth, then you believe in a malicious God. Like
He's a
that's
jerk.
not a God to worship.
Yeah, it's just a
Yeah.
troll.
Yeah, seriously. If
I mean,
you
to
believe
be
in a
fair,
God
though, if I
that
were God, I would
allows-
probably do that, because you gotta spice
that
things up a
allows
little bit.
children to have bone cancer and parasites that eat their eyes, and you believe in a shitty God that doesn't deserve to be worshipped.
Okay, so back to Star Trek. It's very important. The Borg did not say, "We are the Borg."
What did they say?
They
I
didn't
couldn't hear
say
under all
that.
the preaching.
I think they just
that-
said, "Prepare to be assimilated, or you will be assimilated."
Okay.
Prepare for assimilation.
How do you prepare for assimilation? Do you like? Is it
You just
like when you
Lay
prepare
down
for
on
a
your
night out on
stomach
the
with your
town,
arms at your sides.
you
It's
you
like,
go to the
it's
you know
like prepare to
best
die.
clothes? I don't know. I
Any
don't know,
last
dude.
words?
Okay, their exact phrase is, "You will be
Do you go-
assimilated,
do you brush
resistance
your
is futile."
teeth?
They just don't
Do you
say the "we are the
shave?
Borg" part.
Like, are you stuck with whatever facial hair you have
Or
when you're
the
simulated? So like, you gotta
psychological
make sure
distinctiveness.
that you
Make
have
sure
the
you're
right
well
kind of
groomed.
haircut and stuff.
You don't
Yeah.
have any? The Borg are like, nope, don't care about that.
I think
All
we
your
see
hair
Borg
follicles
clean
are
on that as
all
facial
assimilated.
hair.
Maybe if you just are sick of shaving, you just get assimilated. That way, all your hair falls out.
They doubled the particle yield of the phaser in like 10 minutes. Sorry, the phase pistol. It's not a phaser. It's
Why
different.
did
But what
they
is he
do that
doing? He's
all
blasting
along?
himself with Omicron radiation.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He's gonna transcend being a living Denoblian and become radioactive man.
I think he's going to be
He's gonna
dead
come
in a
out.
minute.
It's gonna be like what was it, Professor Manhattan or whatever from Doctor Manhattan
Mm.
from
Why do the
From,
Borg go to the trouble of replacing all the
what's it called?
LEDs?
Watchmen. He's gonna,
I don't know if they
he's gonna
replaced
come
them.
out glowing blue.
It just like Borg stuff just modifies them. Borg's like, I like green.
They like their branding.
It's
They
important.
must have
Branding
decided
is
a long
important
time
for
ago that green
assimilation.
was the most efficient color.
Well, you can
It
see
is
more
the,
shades of green
it is
than
the
any
color
other
most
color.
easily
So
visible to the human eye.
I don't
Green.
think the lighting matters to them particularly because most of them have those ocular implants that lets them see like a crazy spectrum.
Yeah.
as someone pointed out, all of the EM spectrum is all of the EM spectrum.
They can see far more of the EM spectrum than
Kind of a weird
humans, is
point,
the
but
important
okay.
bit.
Can they see sound?
That's not part of the EM spectrum.
They should be able to see sound though, because they should be able to
Why?
discern the movements of particles. You're in a fluid, air, so you'd be able to see the change in density, right?
I mean,
As the pressure wave
we can
moves
do
through
that
it.
too.
Yeah, with FLIR imaging, but they can do it
Oh.
in their eye.
If you could see sound, you would just never see anything though, because there would just be so much noise.
Oh, or
So
the
does
Borg,
this
have they
imply
adapted?
that not only do the Borg cyberneticize you, but do they also rearrange your biology to make you like
Yeah,
a
you have to
pattern
fit
after
all
whatever
the
they
you have
consider
to fit all
Borg?
the metal in there, so just move the organs around.
No, it's not
They
just the
determine
organs,
what
but, like,
kind of processor
fundamentally
you are,
changing.
and
It fundamentally
then
changes
you get
your
assigned.
biology.
I mean, we don't know what the biosigns actually read. What are they measuring that is a biosign?
Okay, the Borg
That
haven't
is
adapted
critical.
yet.
I just assume that the tricorder does like an MRI.
Because it could be measuring how their nerves are functioning or something like that, and because they're
think-
now actually cybernetic.
I think in my head canon is that not only do they add all these cybernetic devices, but they also completely reconfigure your biology to meet whatever the amalgam they view as best at the current time.
They have adapted.
Well, we better
All right,
get
Enterprise
some
is screwed.
swords and things, I guess.
Or they could open the doors. Oh, that's mean.
that
He can't
works.
just pull out his tubes.
Why
That's
didn't
just rude.
either of them get assimilated here?
Because plot, don't worry
You
about
should,
it.
you should call back Enterprise. Yeah, just if you get in a hand-to-hand fight with them, just rip out all the tubes going to their head and you win instantly.
The ones on the ship have adapted, and these ones haven't.
You may recognize this prop from other episodes of Star Trek.
Reused props in my Star Trek.
No.
Wait, how come these Borg haven't adapted yet? Shouldn't they be
Yeah,
like
how come
connected to
these
the
ones
Borg on
haven't
the
adapted? The
Enterprise?
ones on the Enterprise are.
Getting data back? Yeah.
Maybe they accidentally turned the Bluetooth off.
Ah, there we go.
Oh, there you go. They turned
So
it back on. It's fine.
All whatever 85 people on Enterprise are sworn to secrecy about this event. and
Craft
no one
sound
makes
effects
a
right
It's
there.
not
thing?
secrecy. They just don't connect the dots when they meet the Borg 250 years later.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
Because they never say, we are the Borg.
That little remote
could
control
just
has
be
quite the
I mean,
range.
how many mission reports did the Enterprise write? Do you think Picard has actually read all of them?
Can we transport the Borg into space?
Yeah,
Why are they still
transport the
here?
Borg.
Oh, they're transporting
They're
themselves.
beaming back.
They're going home.
Surely if the Borg had kept pressing there, they would have taken the ship.
Yeah.
And
Yellow
as the
Marcher.
Borg, they should understand that kind of statistical calculation.
I want to see the trailer for this now.
Yeah, in fact,
Shoot.
why do
Oh.
they beam themselves back onto the ship?
Okay, now keep firing on the debris. Destroy every little chunk you can find.
Yeah,
Vaporize.
Yeah,
vaporize.
'cause, like, if a Borg's
Every
just chilling
single
there in
nanoprobe.
space, it's going to start this whole thing again. Oh,
Capture
look
it
at
all in
this
a tractor
creature.
beam
Let's
and fling it into the
oh,
sun.
Let's investigate. Oh no!
Yeah, that's
my
what
crew
happened to the
assimilated.
Packlets. They picked up lore, and now they're going to pick up the Borg.
Yeah.
Also, this clearly means that Denebulans are immune to Omicron radiation.
Not immune.
I think I found a lost logo of Star Trek Enterprise from the trailers. I've never seen this font in my life.
Post it
Look in the general chat. It's posting.
Oh, is that
Post
is
it.
that
Stand by.
the little
Posting.
hologram thing that projects Tasha?
Oh wow.
Oh,
I wonder what was that from? Because it wasn't called
From the
Star Trek
Regeneration
Enterprise for
trailer.
the first 2 seasons.
It's
Yeah, it
for
was
the
just
trailer for
Enterprise.
Regeneration. It's very TNG-esque, like the font.
Let me unblur the screen. Don't mind the
Look,
few
it has
seconds
an
of Barbie Horse
arrowhead.
Adventures.
Like, it has the arrowhead, but that's not even part of the show's, like,
Is he talking out of
iconography.
the right side of his mouth always? Did he have Bell's palsy? Maybe.
Hmm.
Does this actor have Bell's palsy?
No?
How do you know? What's the actor? Actor Phlox.
That's John Billingsley.
John Billingsley. Bell's palsy. Oh, it's a search. 6 things you should know. Let's see.
About John Billingsley or about Bell's palsy?
Well, Bell's palsy is a condition, and so when I searched for John Billingsley and I put the little letter B, it completed Bell's palsy, and so I mean I'm not the first person to think that he has Bell's palsy.
He doesn't talk out of the side of his mouth on everything, though. It's just...
Yeah, but Bell's palsy is a condition that comes and goes. Because I have a family member who has it, and sometimes it looks like they've had a stroke, but it's just a Bell's palsy expressing, and then it goes away after a few weeks, and then it might be months before the next time it reoccurs.
Maybe Phlox has Bell's palsy, and it's
John Billingsley has Bell's palsy, so yes.
Damn, got him.
I was correct.
Huh? Not bad.
Okay.
Look at me diagnosing people on a TV show.
Oh god, the next episode is terrible.
First flight, it's okay. It's fine.
Captain
Alright.
Archer is flying a space plane. Why is he flying a space plane?
Because he's in love.
Duh.
Alright, 1 minute to first flight. First flight.
What?
First flight. First flight.
So there's
First
a
flight?
Easter egg to the
First flight.
ring ship Enterprise that you guys posted last week. In the bar in this episode. I learned this from the Memory Alpha page last week.
So fun fact, like that's might be part of the reason why Phlox's smile was CG, was because he probably couldn't smile anything close to like a wide smile, like a big. Anyway.
Apparently that was a really expensive effect to make his CG smile look good.
Really? Well, I mean, look good, relatively speaking.
I think it
It's
looks
not
good.
supposed to look attractive. It's an alien thing.
I think it
but
looks
pretty
convincing.
good. Press play in 5, 4, 3, 2,
The pufferfish does
one,
not look good.
play. I love the pufferfish though. It's fun.
It's very fun. I'm glad it exists. It was in Lower Decks.
Nobody messes with a pufferfish.
The Borg attempted to mess with Phlox, but they have failed.
Cause he's a cause he's a pufferfish and you don't mess
Yeah.
with a pufferfish.
Pufferfish are like poison, right?
Yes.
So maybe that's why the Borg sucked at assimilating him.
Mm.
Was that a Sub Rosa Picardum?
Okay, so apparently if we want to find dark matter, we need Metreon particles. So we can make it all glowy. The fact that... Yeah, I was gonna say, the fact that we're getting a reverse shot of the screen means it's gonna be a tragedy.
Yeah.
Not reverse shot, but it's a TV screen.
The fact that we're seeing the back of the laptop instead of seeing Forrest initially means it's tragedy.
Damn, you're an Enterprise enjoyer.
That's just how it works.
It's been a long road.
I don't think that's even
think
just an
you-
Enterprise
from
thing.
there
I
to
think that's
here.
just a...
You know,
It's
that's
building up suspense.
That does seem familiar. That angle, yeah.
Because you can't see his, like, smiling face when he first pops up on screen. Which means he must not be smiling and happy to see Archer, which means it must be tragedy.
So, comment from my girlfriend on the opening of that episode. Oh, we haven't seen Porthos in a while. I'm missing the dog.
Well, we saw Porthos last episode. In the episode before. What are you talking about, assistant? He is a good dog, though.
He is a good dog, but yeah. She says her priorities are in the right place, clearly.
I'm sure we'll see Porthos soon. I should get a beagle. Where'd you even get a beagle?
From a beagle breeder?
Where does one acquire
Yeah.
a beagle?
Beagle breeder. From a puppy mill, unfortunately. A horrible, horrible puppy mill. Why are you such a terrible person, Ryan?
Yeah,
But
Ryan, are
they're
you going to
so
support?
cute and fluffy.
Also,
What about
apparently they're actually really
Muttville, San
terrible to train.
Francisco? Maybe I can find a beagle mutt.
Yes.
Mostly beagle.
Amigo?
Yes, a meagle. Let me check my local rescues, see what dogs are currently available.
Is this the haha proved you wrong Vulcan episode?
Bunch of angst about Archer. Captain Archer is flying a plane. Why is he flying a plane?
Okay, my local rescue has no beagles right now. They have a lot of
that's sad.
shepherds.
Yeah, I imagine they would have a lot of shepherds. That's probably a very hard dog to take care of. That's very cute.
It looks like they
So-
have a litter of like 6 shepherds. They're all the same age.
I really like German Shepherds. My cousin has had 3 German Shepherds. I've had the privilege to look after all of them. And they've had like a traditional colored one, an all white German Shepherd, and an all black German
Really?
Shepherd.
Oh wow!
I didn't know they could be
Really
white.
cool.
Didn't know that was a thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The German Shepherds
like
as a
labs.
breed, they suffer from hip dysplasia. So
Yes.
Oh, that's
when
the same thing
you
labs get, isn't it?
if you I don't know, I'm not an expert, but I do know that they got their dogs with a certificate that said that they were hip dysplasia free, whatever that means. But like, if it's a guarantee, if your I guess if the dog gets hip dysplasia, they you give you another dog. I don't know what they're supposed to do, like a dog warranty, take it in for service or something. But
Yeah, you just turn it in for a new one.
Amount back is my guess.
Yeah,
They're gonna contact you about your dog's extended warranty.
they're all really cool dogs, and they all had very, very different personalities. It's interesting. And I think that it's like each dog kind of lined up with the personalities of one of the members of their family, which was kind of funny. But their current dog, it's the all black German Shepherd, is she's a sweetheart, but she's like she doesn't realize how big she is, and she's super clumsy, but she's also really athletic too. So it's a weird combination.
So they're a German Shepherd, is what you're saying.
I guess. I mean, like their previous German Shepherd was just very like she had no interest in like playing fetch or anything, or playing at all. Like she
that's not right.
She just hung out, walks, and she had no interest in playing fetch or anything at all.
God, the German Shepherd, I mean, I guess it's not my German Shepherd, but the German Shepherd that I raised and now lives with my parents.
Right?
That dog, all it cares about is fetch.
Well,
24 hours a day, it's all fetch all the time.
Their current German Shepherd 100% would play until it died. Like if you wanted to, you could play until the dog would literally play until it died from exhaustion.
Yes.
I
yes,
guarantee it. And so like when the first time I was dog sitting their new German Shepherd, it was like 7 or 9 months old. So still, very much a puppy, right? And I'd get home from work, I'd take her for like several mile walk for like maybe 45 minutes, an hour.
Have you considered a 10-mile sprint instead?
Yeah. And then I want to like get some stuff done on my computer and relax, but she just wanted to keep playing. So I was like, okay, one night I was like, I'm gonna just wear her out and she won't want to play, she'll leave me alone the rest of the evening. So we went for the walk, and then I spent like an hour in the yard playing with the flirt pole. I don't know if you're familiar. It's like a big cat toy for dogs. It's like a stick with a big bungee rope on the end and like a thing for them to bite onto. Anyway, I thought she was gonna like have a heart attack or something. She was like panting so hard, and then she still wanted to keep playing, and I was exhausted. I took a nap. I don't know. That dog.
That tracks with my experience for sure.
Dogs are a lot of work.
Specific dogs, but German Shepherds in
Yeah,
particular,
German
and
Shepherds, Huskies.
You don't
oh
see
god,
anyone paying in this bar here. Like
Border Collies are a lot
just,
of work.
Just gonna assume the drinks are free in this bar. I want to go
Yeah,
there.
don't worry about it.
The people behind me have 2 Border Collies, and they're hilarious because they're clearly they're siblings, right? And when they run around the backyard, they like run shoulder to shoulder. They're like running into each other everywhere they go. They're connected. It's like a dog centipede.
Huskies they're really cool dogs, but I never want one.
Yeah,
I do not
don't
want
like
a
dogs
husky.
in general, but like huskies are adorable.
But
I think,
there's so much work and they're so loud,
Yeah,
and it's just
they're really difficult animals.
Huskies don't like huskies. They're more like a partner than a pet. So like they're not. They are more like they only comply with you when it suits them, type of thing. You know.
Huskies have
So,
exactly 0 chill.
yeah, and they need a lot of exercise and stuff. Otherwise, they'll get frustrated and they get separation anxiety. Her shepherd, one shepherd had really bad separation anxiety. Like when they weren't home, it would get into stuff.
Is that person just holding a bottle of water? You see that in the background?
Why not have a bottle of water?
I want more info on the ring ship. They always have models of that ring ship and pictures of it, but we never really see it. What is the ring ship?
They said yesterday
Another
they should have made that the NX-01.
Is it an interstellar impulse ship? Like, what is it?
In fact,
the
was
Enterprise.
it one of the proposed designs for an XO1 or something? Or was it
yeah?
All right.
a proposed design for the original series?
It's
I need to unblur the screen briefly. Let me get that lined up. No blur. Dog.
What are
Dog.
Dog?
Same dog.
Where's dog?
On the YouTube stream. This is the German Shepherd.
Hold
This
on.
is-
Looking at, let me pull it up.
Okay.
Cancel. I'm sorry.
I guess we're not watching First Flight. This is a dog episode now.
There we go. All right.
So this is him when we got him as a puppy. He was almost all
Aw.
black.
Did
Against
they
my
tape the ears up to do
No,
that?
that's just what they do when they're young.
Aw.
They start floppy
Mike-
and then they slowly point up and get like that, and then they sort of
Right.
normalize to the side.
That is so weird.
My dog's current German Shepherd, one ear wouldn't go up, so they
There-
actually
there's normal again.
Aw.
they plastered in like an insert, like a form, and eventually it took.
Is it bad for them if it doesn't?
I don't think so. It's just a desirable trait to have them. Like that's the whole point of a German Shepherd.
The whole
They have
point.
pointy ears. Yeah, no pun intended.
No, that's. You're
Most
good dogs.
I thought it looked
Ears.
cute with one floppy
he-
ear, but you know,
That would look
it's
adorable.
not my dog.
All he
Yeah.
cares about is the ball. That's all I am to him. I'm just the ball thrower.
How does it feel about food?
That dog is not food driven at all. All it cares about
Really?
is the ball.
I've never heard of such a thing, honestly.
It's all about the ball.
That's
When
surprising.
I must have made an impression because whenever I come over, she goes nuts because she's like, oh, it's playtime. She jumps all over me, and then she'll stand by like where they keep the ball and just like looks up at the ball, looks over at me, looks up at the ball, looks over at me, like come
Yep.
on, let's
Aw.
go.
Look at the
Good
ball.
dog.
Now look at me. Oh, look back at the ball.
That looks like
No.
a
I have
Klingon
become
ship.
the ball.
A little bit.
That is a Klingon ship.
No, that's
it's
that's
the,
their prototype.
the NX.5.
I believe it's called
I think
NX Alpha. Yep, there it is, NX Alpha.
Cringe.
Actually,
And then they have the NX beta.
I guess
Such a
somebody
beta
at some
show.
point realized that if they wanted to
Beta
have a
male.
predecessor to the NX01 and they already used 01, they couldn't numerically go any lower. So okay, NX Alpha, Beta.
So
They could do
see the Vulcans here?
NX00, NX-1, NX-2.
Why does it
Are the
look like an
Vul-
upgraded Phoenix?
Because it
Phoenix
is an
was built
upgraded
out of-
Phoenix.
out
It
of
is
a
literally
missile.
just an upgraded
What? The
Phoenix.
Phoenix was built out of a retired nuclear missile. Like, surely they would have built something from scratch for this.
Well, it's just a
No.
metal cylinder with
They
stuff
did
in
build it
It's
from
pretty much
scratch.
the
It's just
same.
the same shape.
All test aircraft, they have to be tested in like a wind tunnel and all that. So it's like they are going to be shaped. Why do all airplanes look the same?
This doesn't fly in air.
Yeah, I don't think they care
It
about the
doesn't-
air
it-
resistance.
Aerodynamics makes no difference to a spacecraft.
It does
If
when you
it
have
has
dual-
to
Make
deal
a
with the
completely new
aerodynamics, it's
design,
already
I
lost.
think is the point. Every time
It's
you
already
make a
destroyed.
new iteration, you just improve on what came before. So that's why it looks similar to the Phoenix.
It looks similar to the Phoenix because the art department was like, we want to make it look like an evolution of the Phoenix, but they didn't really understand the reason why the Phoenix looked the way it looked in the first place.
There's nothing wrong with the design, though. Why
Uh-huh.
change the shape if you don't need to?
It looks fine to
What?
Worked
me.
fine.
What I like about this episode is that it's the last bit of character development we get before we get into the Zindi Expanse plotline. And you get to see like Archer wanted
Oh, he's
this.
doing a drift. Oh.
That looks like a photo of Jupiter. I think that's real
Did we learn
Jupiter.
anything new about Archer in this episode?
You don't
He
drift at
used to
warp
have a
speed.
friend.
He didn't get the job when he wanted to be the first pilot of his dad's space warp engine, and he's
Now he's
crushed by that.
drifting around Jupiter.
This episode shows us how he met Trip, so that's something.
Yes, this is when he and Trip became best buddies because Trip sticks up for his father's.
Because they
engine.
work together in a criminal conspiracy.
But Trip sees that
Aw,
the problem is not the
besties.
engine that Henry Archer made. The problem is the Vulcans holding the program back.
Some
So, yeah,
people
do you
say,
think the
"Oh,
Vulcans-
this is Larry. He's my partner in crime." No, Archer means it. Trip is his partner in crime.
Yeah, that's the end joke between them.
What
isn't
great
it?
friendship hasn't begun over doing crime together?
I don't think I've
Yeah,
ever
don't
committed
you-
a crime
Background
with a
criminal
friend.
activity.
Don't you commit crimes with your friends as well, Ryan?
No,
Do you
I don't
not?
think I have. It doesn't really come up.
Oh. They're not true friends.
Yeah.
You never
A true
pirated
friend.
a movie with your friends?
A true friend will not only commit a crime with you, but will encourage you to commit crime.
I began my friendship with Moon
I
by
think-
pirating.
The meme I saw once was a friend is someone bailing you out of jail. A best friend is someone who is in jail with you.
Damn.
I mean,
That was a good
one time
sign.
I went camping with this person, and she wanted to like steal a camping sign, and that would have been a crime.
Damn.
Oh,
I didn't go
along with
so
it yet, huh?
spicy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I was with some friends and we stole like a campaign sign from someone.
Damn.
I was like, one of our friends was like, I have to get out of the car because I don't want to be involved in this.
That's amazing.
So I know you guys are probably familiar with, we've recently
Crimes.
had a couple pretty heated presidential elections in the last several years. I remember
Okay.
reading a story, and I won't get into who's who in this.
I
But
bet we could guess.
there was a person had a campaign sign on their lawn that kept getting destroyed.
Mhm.
Oh,
So
yeah?
they kept getting run over. Somebody was like, because they were on a main road, so people were just like swerving off the road and taking out their sign. So they put a spike strip underneath it, and this person tried to run it over, and then she got a flat tire, and she was yelling at this person, that they booby trapped the sign or whatever, and got a flat tire, and they were like, okay, well, give me all your info, and I'll send you a payment for your tire. And then they gave them all their info, and they sued them for destruction of property and for making them feel unsafe in their own home because they kept vandalizing their sign and stuff, and like took them to court, and they got like a $1,300 settlement against them. They're like, yeah, I'm buying a new computer.
Like I'm surprised by that outcome because booby trapping is illegal in the U.S.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I'm
it's
surprised
US
that they
property?
didn't like get absolutely demolished for that.
It
Certain
depends how
kinds of
you
booby
do it.
traps.
You know, like if
you can booby trap a little
you-
bit.
Just
there's
a
certain
little.
things. There's certain things you can do and certain things you can't. Like you can't,
You can't
put
have a
like you
shotgun
couldn't put like
blast as soon as you open the door.
you couldn't put something on the lawn that somebody would want to steal and like put a claymore mine underneath it.
Right.
You know what I'm
You think
saying? But you can you could put like thorny bushes in front of your window. You know, like
Or you can put a stink bomb in the Amazon package that gets stolen.
well, again,
don't
don't
mess
booby
around with
trap your
booby traps, 'cause
property
you could
in
get
any
in
way in
trouble.
general. But I don't know. Apparently,
You only get in trouble for a booby trap
Maybe-
if the booby trap doesn't kill. Because if it kills,
Here,
there's
I'll
no
say
witnesses.
Here, I'll say this though. You know, this is a story from the internet, and it wouldn't be the first time somebody on the internet made something up. So you know, but it was
What?
just an interesting read. I know, crazy.
I can't believe someone would lie on the internet.
That's not possible.
Do you
There's-
think
I
the
had this-
Vulcans were like looking for them to fail at this point?
Yes.
Yeah, they were not sharing technology because you know actually what thing I love
Earth is
about this-
100% a puppet state.
But no, but what I mean is,
It's
like,
a
the
vassal,
Vulcans
I would
were
say.
the Vulcans were yes deliberately holding back technology, but that's like a whole
Like they
like,
can't do
different
shit without
debate.
permission from the Vulcans in this show.
So that's like a whole different debate in terms of like, you know, how fast you introduce technology, which humans encounter later on, you know, in the TNG era. But the Vulcans have like, they seem to have like made a decision at this point that they're like, yeah, they'll just let the humans sabotage themselves. Like, when did they go from let's help this race to we really don't want this race getting involved anymore?
Immediately.
No, they mentioned here. I think like when Archer announces that like they're gonna keep going and they're not gonna and the Vulcan ambassador Soval and Forrester in the room. Soval says there once was a time when your species like listened to our guidance, and I'm sorry, it's over. So the Vulcans always saw themselves as like our caretakers, and the reason they were stunting our warp development was because children can't grow up too fast, right? You don't let your 2-year-old drive a Lamborghini.
Yeah, and the same Vulcans are alive at this point that were alive when
Yes.
First Contact happened, so they still have that same attitude, whereas Archer is like, what, 3 generations after First Contact, something like that?
Yeah, it's a good observation.
The humans alive now are like, we've solved all the problems, why are you holding us back? And the Vulcans are like, we've seen exactly what it was like when you devastated your planet, what are you talking about?
And you're the same children in the
The
lifetime.
Vulcans are still holding them back because it's the same Vulcans that were alive initially, and they're all boomers.
It's like, all right, it's like your parents, even though you become an adult and you have, like information that your parents might not know, your parents always view you as their children, so they never really respect your opinion on anything.
No.
Or maybe not all parents are like that, but
maybe
some
you just
are.
had bad parents.
Mom, dad, talking about you.
One thing I love about this episode, but Crayola, did you want to say something? I think I spoke over you.
We can love things Star Trek.
No,
I thought we
I
hate
wasn't going to say anything.
So
That 20-minute
not-
tangent about dogs has really created a queue of things to say.
Yeah.
The Saturn
That's
V.
really gonna throw a wrench in my career.
I had some really
plans.
good
Yeah.
pictures of that dog, but it would be a face reveal, and I can't do that, even though I
No
already
face
have.
reveals? This is
Does something
outrageous.
happen?
Ryan, I dare you
something
to
does.
face reveal.
Some people,
Right,
at least
so-
some of you have already seen my face. It's not that impressive.
Admiral-
It's just a face.
Admiral called to tell us that this guy died, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh. So
A.G.
I mean,
Robinson.
They introduce a character by killing him, and then they introduce us to him.
It's a
you
flash.
know, like-
This is called the character development episode before the Zindi Expanse arc begins.
Eh.
It's a flashback.
Also,
But,
this guy died because he's the worst, and
No,
he
he's the-
deserved it.
No, he's a friend and a dear friend because humanity grew from this obstacle.
He's a prideful fool, and he deserved what he got.
He was Archer's rival and he made him a better captain. He told him how to be a better captain. He said, like, you spend so many hours in that training simulator that, like, Starfleet doesn't want somebody who's the best pilot. They want somebody who can make decisions on their own. He changes Riker's course of destiny. Not
You just say Riker?
Archer.
Same character.
But
I guess by
what-
proxy, he changed Riker's life.
Sorry, what I want to say about what I love about this episode is the Saturn V rocket
I just
program.
swore.
You know, it's really hard to make a rocket because you have a lot of explosive energy, and the goal is to not make it blow up. So the Saturn V rocket program was like the greatest feat of the entire NASA Apollo program because you have to have boosters and a lot of energy and a lot of power. So basically, our warp reactor core here is like exploding too quickly, and it's a very delicate balance that we haven't figured out yet.
Though the balance they're talking about fixing is the intermix ratio, and we know
Yeah.
that the intermix ratio is 1 to 1 by definition. So what's the problem?
yeah. That's
What's the issue here?
Well, they didn't figure that out
what
yet.
Wesley
Like,
said.
they're not as smart as Wesley.
Well, to be fair, I think you would probably want to run it a little bit rich on regular matter, just to be sure that you don't have any residual antimatter hanging around.
I think it's the rate at which you mix.
You would just want to have it. You just want to have it just slightly leaning, just a tiny bit leaning towards regular matter. Isn't that the woman that both Trip and what's Malcolm had a thing for?
Yes, this is
That bartender right
continuity.
there?
This is Ruby, the first person to guess her children's names she'll marry, or her future children's names.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
It is
None
insane,
and
but hey,
none.
I assume she's not really serious about that.
I hope so.
I don't think she signed a contract.
Hey, you know how people are. Some people would absolutely do that sort of thing.
That elbow to the
it's fake.
nose maneuver. Oof, that was you could feel that one, the way it sounded.
It's like they added the sound in post.
They can't
It
do
sounded
that.
like it
Almost all
sounded
punching
very
sounds are added in
meaty.
post.
Yes, except that one time that Cisco accidentally punched Ducat in the face for realsies.
I mean, yeah, most of the sounds are added in post, but you're not supposed to think about that when you watch it.
You guys were arguing, discussing before whether Archer or Cisco has more yelling. Archer has the Zindi Expanse arc, which is like we have to find the bad guys like now, otherwise Earth's gonna die. The shady bad guys in like Afghanistan. So
They cut Cuba in half. It's outrageous. Would you
I
just
mean-
forgive people for chopping Cuba in half?
Well, we're
So it's
not
more
really
emotional.
using
Well-
Cuba for anything. It's just kind of there.
Cuba. Actually, fun
don't
fact:
need it.
Fidel
Half, though.
Castro was really into breeding cattle, and he developed a whole bunch of different breeds of cattle.
Did you know there were like 600 attempts
He wasn't
on
into
life?
breeding cattle. He was
They all
into
failed.
milkshakes.
He developed a munchkin cow that he thought people could keep in their house, like I guess for milk. So you just always have fresh milk.
It was
Mm.
because he loved milkshakes. He had like 3 milkshakes a day at one point for
yeah,
20
and
years.
the assassination attempts that Moon mentioned.
Poisoned his
Yeah.
milkshake.
Yeah, one of them was like you had to put a pill in his milkshake, but like they put the pill in the microwave and it melted, so they couldn't kill him.
Putting some arsenic in his chocolate sprinkles, perhaps.
That's rude.
I mean, you can try, but it didn't work.
He was an absolute Chad.
You know, it's good to have a friend to make you a better pilot or whatever it is that you do. Like when you guys mentioned before, like Archer is the most important person in human history, and this is the guy who makes him a great captain.
Is Archer a great captain though?
Yeah.
He is.
I think
Yes.
he's pretty good.
No.
He is. He's
Aside from
sometimes-
the genocide, he's
He-
pretty good.
sometimes you
He
have
goes
to
out
yell.
there with no template or instructions on how to do anything and
Right.
still manages to
And
parse his
He
way
only
through
commits
every
one
scenario.
genocide.
Does he commit genocide?
Yes. Technically
Look,
2.
He's
But
put
really
in more
one.
desperate situations than any other Trek captain. So, he's gonna yell.
Would you say
a lot.
he's a hopeless situation warrior?
Yes, he is.
The two of you that understand that reference.
What did I miss? I'm sorry. I was responding to a direct message.
No, I just laughed at the idea of a hopeless situation warrior. I'm not familiar
It's
with the
from
movie.
this amazing translation of Revenge of the Sith.
Wait, isn't that like the whole point of one character in Picard is that he only fights hopeless battles?
Mhm.
What's his name? The Romulan. Oh gosh, I want to say.
Basically,
Kwamala.
someone
I don't want to say it.
translated a
The
bootleg copy of
the-
Revenge of the Sith.
the Romulan
back into
guy who's a
English.
ninja from a cult that's normally all
Yeah.
women. Why are there so many all-female cults in the Romulan culture?
There's only one.
So
What do you mean?
they're not.
What was
instead
Shot
of-
Vosh, and then the whatever the heck guy came from was normally all women, and they just for some reason allowed him to be part of it.
The Kwamala.
So wait, what was this translation?
Okay,
I'm
so at
curious.
one point in the movie, Revenge of the Sith, Anakin and Obi-Wan are referred to as hopeless situation warriors instead of Jedi Knights.
What do you mean 1 point? Like all of Backstroke of the West is hopeless situation warriors and Presbyterian churches, and I love Backstroke of the West. It is one of the funniest things in the world, in my opinion.
Backstroke of the West. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's a bootleg copy of Revenge of the Sith that was translated into Chinese and then translated back into English, and it's absolutely like jumbled. It's a disaster.
That sounds
And the
amazing.
Jedi are referred to as hopeless situation warriors on many occasions.
I
They're also
am-
referred to as the Presbyterian Church.
That's amazing.
Okay,
Wow.
so if
Obi-Wan
you go,
Kenobi's name is Section Ratio.
if you search
Section
Backstroke of the West on YouTube, you can find all of Star Wars Episode 3, and it's all there.
Wow.
It's all
Yeah, we
voiced
should
in
watch
the new
Backstroke
thing.
after this. If you guys want to watch Backstroke
wait,
with
is
me,
the
I will
YouTube
be
channel
down. I'll stream
monetized?
it.
I wonder.
I don't know. Don't worry
Is the
about it.
No, I
YouTube
don't
channel
think so.
monetized?
Probably not.
Lol.
I would gladly stream Backstroke if you guys want to see it. It's really funny.
Well, not today for me, but maybe in the future.
Yeah.
5 years ago it was uploaded.
But most famously, it changes Darth Vader's "No, do not want."
Oh,
I see.
That's the most
that's
famous.
where that comes from.
Yes,
Okay.
it comes from Backstroke of the West.
Wow.
The Sith are the West.
Wow.
Sometimes
The
they're
Sith
also like
are the
the regression
West?
of. It's very
So-
weird. Like
so
nothing just has
they-
one name.
So they view us as evil?
It was a bootleg of.
It's probably a phonetic
of-
translation, which is why it's
it's
so
just-
fucked. Because
It was
all
a
the
bootleg.
technobabble in Star Wars
Uh,
was phonetically
yeah, I
translated
doubt-
into Chinese.
Robo, it's not.
then
It's not a
translated literally
cultural
back.
interpretation. It's literally just translation. It's a bad translation.
You know, all your bases are belong to us. It's like that.
Like I know section ratio in
Hmm.
particular is because of phonetic translation, and then being translated back absolutely destroyed Obi-Wan's name. I think most of the damage was done on the translation back than the translation to Chinese, just based on the way it sounds to me.
So
I'm tracking
we-
my
right out of Star Trek 1 and like all the other TOS movies, we are stealing the Enterprise out of space dock. Well, not the Enterprise, but stealing our warp ship out of space dock.
They
Yeah,
can't
Star
do
Trek
that.
3
That's
really started
illegal.
that off.
And this is the
I'm just saying they could have designed a better shape for this ship. All right, like it's just
Wait, and
it's a
then
little
it's a
little
test ship. It's not it's not
It's
the
a
shall we
beauty.
little
cylindrical.
let's
There's
say it's
What
a
do you have
little,
against
um,
cylinders?
What's the word? Captain Proton.
Yeah, that's what that's
The
feel we're
word
going for.
I'm thinking of.
That's
The
definitely
word
the
I'm
feel.
thinking of.
I know what
is
word you're
the-
thinking
is
of,
the-
but that's nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all know what you're thinking of. Why do you ping me with it?
Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
Jeez.
Sometimes a spaceship is just a spaceship.
I don't know. And sometimes it's a representation of.
Sometimes
toxic
it's just a
masculinity.
cylinder because it's a very convenient shape. What do you want them to make? A cube?
Well, I mean, cubes seemed very efficient because, they say like cylinders and spheres, have a really high ratio of surface area to volume, but it's not useful volume, is it?
That
Because
ship
you
flies out
can't
of
really
orbit
use these little round corners.
into space.
Having a cube would be more convenient for
Wait,
like deck
wait.
layouts and stuff.
Look to the
It
right
takes
of
off super
look to the
easily.
right of Admiral Forrest. Why does he have a pirate treasure chest?
Has he got a desk
Oh,
crystal?
that's funny.
Because he's an admiral, I guess.
But
Why
I love
does he
the
have a
San
treasure
Francisco
chest?
silhouette. We get to see a beautiful view of the Golden Gate Bridge behind the admiral's desk.
Oh, did you see the Apollo? Did you see the Apollo spacecraft in the hallway on the desk there, or a nightstand? I don't know. The little table in the hallway had a Apollo command module and service module. Anyway,
I figured their controls would both be identical.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
how
who takes what.
pilots work.
yeah.
But I
Why
think
did they
they're
have to
just
swap seats?
Symbolic.
it's to emphasize the point, I guess.
So in Space America, they drive. Yeah, they
On
drive
the
on the
left
right
side.
side still. That's good.
I don't think it matters what
Space
side of the road
America.
you drive on in
His
space.
They
seatbelt.
drive on
his
the right side of
seatbelt's twisted.
space.
Do you see
The
how
right
his
side of the
seatbelt got
hyperlane.
twisted?
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
If they have an accident, he's
Forgot
gonna
about
lose that
seatbelts.
shoulder.
If they have an accident, they're dead anyway, because
How
there's
did
a
they-
warp
So what's
core.
the point? What's the point of the harness?
So in Starfleet, if your
Well, it's to keep you on the seat, not to.
if your renegade operation
Save your life.
succeeds, it's not mutiny. But if it fails, it is mutiny. So
Maybe there's
we-
0G, so it's there to like just keep you in your seat, you know?
He's like, oh, all the Vulcans are here. Gotta pretend like this is all planned and on purpose now.
Would you want to be floating out of your seat?
I can't.
If you're...
Like, I just imagine them having a private meeting later. Like, I can't punish you for this because the Vulcans are watching. And if I punish you, they'll know that this wasn't sanctioned. But damn it,
Janet?
like
damn
Kirk
it,
was never prosecuted for stealing the
Janet?
Enterprise. Archer was
Kirk stole
encouraged.
the Enterprise in Search for Spock.
Motion picture. No.
Search for
Uh,
Spock.
Search
is
for Spock.
dead. Yep.
Yeah, sorry.
In the motion picture, he steals it from Decker.
Right.
Well, yeah, Admiral Kirk is just like, this is my ship now.
Kirk is a jerk.
Yeah.
No, and by the way, he hated being at a desk. So there
This
was
is
some
canon.
there was some little part of him, that said like, I don't want to.
Well,
I don't
you
wanna
know,
say-
Doesn't have
admirals
to
are
be a
always
dick
evil,
about
and
it.
here he is. He's being
I
an
don't think he's
evil admiral,
evil, he's just
stealing
a
a ship
jerk.
away from Decker.
He's not evil. He's just a jerk.
He's
But
like
we-
he's like Jay Leno taking the Late Show back from Conan O'Brien.
I do not understand that reference.
There was
He
a point in
retired.
time.
And
And
it's
Beta,
hilarious.
did you hear that? Beta?
I heard Beta.
I heard
So
Beta.
for those who don't know, at the time there was a show after Leno's late night show, and that
Wait.
was Conan O'Brien. And the deal
Did-
with I think NBC was that when Jay Leno retired, that Conan would get his show.
Spot.
And Jay Leno retired, and Conan got the show. But then they introduced the Jay Leno show, which was like some weird variety show that they put before the Late Show, where they used to have Friends reruns before the Late Show, and then like Conan's ratings were tanked, and the Leno thing was tanking, and they didn't put the two and two together that it was like the Friends reruns lead in that got the ratings up for the Late Show, and yeah, Conan left the show, went to another network, and Jay Leno took his show back.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. No,
I don't know.
thought it was-
Is he still on the show? Is he still running that show now,
No,
or what is it?
But I
It's
thought he
somebody else now,
retired
isn't
and
it?
just took his show back, and that's why Conan had to leave.
He retired. He retired, and they gave him the Jay Leno show, which is like a variety show,
Yeah.
and they put it
Like
ahead.
Colbert
They
got
put it
Letterman's
ahead
show.
of. They put it ahead of Conan, and
Uh-huh.
the Jay Leno show was tanking, which was causing Conan's show to tank because everybody was changing channels and they weren't coming back. But before, when Leno was first, they were leading in with Friends reruns, so people were tuning in for Friends and they were staying for Leno. It was more complicated than just Leno wanted his show back, but you know.
So here, Earth declares its independence from Vulcan.
It's already independent.
No, but
In theory.
that he has
Not
to say it
really.
here. With all due respect, it's not your decision.
With all due respect, screw you guys. This is our place now.
Yeah. But by the way, they were gonna scuttle the warp program, and that would have delayed Starfleet by 10 years.
How long ago was this from the main show? How
Even
far back
10
in the
years.
past?
Is the NX-01 under construction at this point, or no?
I guess this is 10 years ago.
I feel like building something the size of the NX-01 would probably take quite a... How long does it take to build an aircraft carrier? How long does that take? How long?
It takes
decade and a
decades
half?
to build an aircraft.
Hold on. No. So 5 to 6 years.
Yeah, but designing it too. Don't forget about that part.
Well, that's a continual thing that's
Oh,
always
5
happening.
years
if that
later,
makes
we
sense.
laid the keel for Enterprise. 5 years later, we laid the keel for Enterprise.
Laid the keel, which is just started the blueprint.
Starting it, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Starting the construction. Laying the keel is actually starting the construction.
Right. Thanks.
So it hadn't been started at that point. They were still going.
So how long did it take them to build it?
Unclear.
5 to 6 years, apparently.
Isn't the keel the bottom? Why would you start at the bottom in zero gravity?
It's just
Don't
a
worry.
phrase.
You
and
gotta
that
start
we know
somewhere.
From nautical times, when you lay the keel,
You would
it's where you
start
start
from
when
the
you're building
middle
sailing
and
ships.
modularly build your way out.
Oh, it's dark
You're saying
matter.
you start
That
from the
was
center of the ship? No, you
I
start
think-
from the outside and go in.
It was Star Trek Generations.
Not if you
The
want
whole
robots to do
opening-
it.
True. The whole opening sequence was a champagne bottle that just smashes against the Enterprise D, and it's just so
B.
beautiful.
Enterprise B.
Thank you. Okay, right. Thank you. But like we do that in real life too, right? We smash a champagne bottle against the water ship, ocean ship.
Yeah, usually.
seems like a waste of material if you ask me, but okay.
Fun fact. Fun fact. When they did that to the Titanic, it bounced off, and it took several attempts. And they're like, "That's not a good omen."
hmm
Yeah,
I can't believe they made another
smashing this time is
Titanic.
good.
Not another movie. They made another ship called Titanic. Why?
I just haven't made one yet, just for like the novelty.
Well,
It's not done yet, is it?
No,
It's a
it's under
planned-
construction.
It's a planned ocean liner intended to be a functional modern-day replica of Olympic-class RMS Titanic. Is it going to also have, coal-burning steam engines and like steerage and like horrible working conditions?
and the fourth chimney thing, that was a fake on the Titanic. The other three worked, but the fourth one was just for aesthetics.
Okay.
So yeah, we're gonna have dummy chimneys going down to the
I
boiler room.
it would be tragic, but it would also be like poetic justice if the replica also sinks. like
Don't
horribly.
don't say that, please.
Let's sink
Oh.
the ship. We can get all the people off,
We
but
already
let's
did
sink the
that
ship.
in Futurama.
Well, now we're doing it in real life. So
There's a-
someone said that the United Earth Space Probe Agency symbol is somewhere in this bar, but I can't find it. I went and scrolled through and I could never find the UESP whatever.
Whisper.
USPA.
There was a comedian who's since passed away, John Panette. He had a little bit about he was on a cruise ship off the coast of some island in the Caribbean, and he's like, "Yeah, we hit some rocks." He's like, "You think that these ships would have like rock detectors? Like, hey, rocks, don't hit these." But we hit the rocks, and the captain, who was Nordic, comes on the thing as we have taken on a little water, and he's like, people around me are panicking. They're like, it's like the Titanic. It's like the Titanic. It's like, no, it's not. It's 10 feet deep out there and 80 degrees. Hop on my back. I'll swim you to shore. He was a big guy.
The guy who was just off screen. So basically, the guy who died, Archer was not in the league to be captain of Enterprise, and it was the other guy. So it's really cool that we even got Archer. Archer would have been XO if Admiral Forrest had his way.
Let's name it Bill.
No, T'Pol's really sweet. T'Pol's thoughtful and considerate. She knows how to give a touching memento.
Are they gonna fly through? No. I was hoping the NX-01 was gonna fly through the fully excited nebula. Oh well. Stream's over. Well, the show's over. Now stream's over in like a minute. Hang on, I need to info there. Okay. What's next week? What's the deal?
Last two episodes of Enterprise next week, because the Zindi arc is starting.
Yeah, so it's Bounty, where Archer is taken captive again. The Expanse, where they first go to the Expanse, and the Zindi, where they first meet the Zindi. Kinda.
There's a terrorist
A
attack
living
on Florida.
Zindi. Yeah, we lose Florida, but who cares? It's Florida. We
And
lose
then Voyager.
Florida and Cuba.
What's up
I'll
next?
It
tell
could
you
be
who
worse.
cares. Trip cares.
Yeah, Trip cares, but whatever. He'll get over it.
No, he won't.
Yeah, he gets over it at the end of the season. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's over after several massage
right
sessions with.
Right before the thing happens at the end, for no reason.
Anyone want to watch Backstroke?
Not today,
Right now?
but in
Yeah.
the future. Seems good. I'm gonna go though. You guys can do whatever you
Okay.
want. I'm gonna end the stream.
Yeah.
Where'd I put the end stream button? There.